So Ottawa. Wait, so where'd you sneak in the fence? I'm trying to think the perimeter. I mean, I just walked in with a pass. I wasn't even thinking of how to sneak in.
I've snuck into a lot of music festivals and bars. I'm really good at that.
Really?
I'm not good at keeping a job, but I can sneak into things very well. I am a tall, confident white.
So you just walk in.
I walk right in.
Ari Shaffir owns this song. Ari Shaffir owns this song. Ari Shaffir owns this song. This song is owned by Ari Shaffir. This song is owned by Ari Shaffir. This song is owned by Ari Shaffir. This song is owned by Ari Shaffir.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ari Shaffir's Skeptic Tank podcast. My name is Ari Shaffir. I'm the host of today's podcast called Ari Shaffir's Skeptic Tank podcast with the host, Ari Shaffir. Oh shit! Can you edit out the fucking ball patch? Just put a fucking shitload of hair in there. If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw what looks like a ball patch on my head, but it's not. It's not. And if you're listening on RSS feed, please subscribe right now. But also ignore that last part about the ball patch. It didn't exist. It's just it's a funny YouTube joke. So on today's episode, I have my friend MrGrahamKay, who came on the podcast to tell me about all the times he's been fired. Dude, there is nothing better in life than when an employee is so shitty that the boss says, I know you want to work here. I know we've trained you. It's not worth it. We want you to go. Your services are no longer necessary. You're fired. You're fired. It hurts. Have you ever been fired? I have. It fucking sucks, dude. The first time I got fired was from Domino's Pizza. For not learning my route was the official reason. Not learning my route. I liked that job at Domino's. I got to listen to the Orioles on WTOP. I like listening to baseball, man. It was just me in my car alone with that fucking Domino's thing on the side. It was fun as shit. And when he said not learning my route, what happened is I ran out of gas. I ran out of gas one day, and I didn't know what to do. It was pre-cell phones, so I couldn't call and say I ran out of gas. So I had to walk like half a mile to get gas, then come all the way back. And then by the time I got back, they're like, "Where, dude? You've been gone for like 2.5 hours. Where were you?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I got a little lost." Made up an excuse that ended up getting me fired. Now that I'm mentioning it, there is also consistently when I was close to the half hour late to where you had to give them $5 off, I would just give them the $5 off. Pardon me, I said that wrong. I would tell the main office at Domino's that I gave them $5 off. I would not tell the customer, and I would pocket that $5. I made a ton of money. In the end, looking back, didn't matter that I got fired because I made so much money that I could have kept working there. If I did it honestly and then just kept working there, I would have made less money than how much I had stolen. If you're Jimmy Domino and you're listening right now, I'm sorry, but the statute of limitations has run out. I don't know anything about the law. So Graham has been fired from a tremendous amount of jobs. I'm not going to ruin it for you because we'll talk about it in the podcast. But like, it was fucking nuts. He came on. He's a comedian in New York that I've known for a few years now. He's really funny, really solid, funny comedian. He's one of the good comics of New York. And you guys love it. If you got a chance to see him, fucking see him for sure. He does have a new special out right now called Stupid Jokes that is available on YouTube for free, as is the new trend in specials. Yeah, so you can see it. So please go check it out. We'll put a box if you're watching on YouTube. Fucking hit subscribe if you are. Do it right now. But anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, the new schedule for this is Monday YouTube release, early Tuesday, like 11 Eastern, 4 or 5, I don't know, London time. And then the least coast. What time is that at? 8 a.m.? Fuck that coast. No, Portland's cool. And Seattle's cool. And who doesn't love Sandog? Fuck. I am in constant pain during this episode because I had a hernia surgery the day before, and it's hard for me to lean forward or backwards. But I did it because I'm a fucking warrior, you guys. Do you think actual warriors get mad at people like me or anyone who claims they're a warrior because they recorded an audio and video podcast while they are on the regular pace of recovery from a hernia surgery? Like actual warriors who've had to chop off the heads of an enemy. You know what I mean? Do those people get like, you're not a warrior, dude. You're not a warrior at all. You haven't killed anyone. You haven't left a spear in a fucking fallen enemy because the fucking spirit of his I don't know, of his household haunts your weapon now? No. Anyway, I've gotten fired from a few jobs, I want to say. By the way, let me just tell you my dates really quickly. Oh my God, the Photoshops I'm getting. I've got to put them up. I've got Photoshops for the Wrong Side of History tour. I got Photoshops for the Deport Avenged Sevenfold tour. I've gotten Photoshops for the Ari's cum guzzling, whatever, loves cum and guzzles cum all the time until he fills up on cum guzzling. And guys, make up your own titles for my tour. I don't have one. So by all means, fucking go for it. How about I thought of this one. Riding Joe Rogan's Coattails tour. It's just the Photoshop. It's just me like riding Joe Rogan. I don't know how you would put this all in a square. I'm loving it. I'm telling Kyla to just add dates to whatever people make. Anything you make and tag me on. If you can't add the dates yourself, I'm going to try to get her to make the dates. And here are the dates. Hartford in June. Baltimore and Providence in July. Shroomfest is in August, obviously, August 21st to 23rd. All over the world. Do you guys know about Shroomfest? You just gotta get mushrooms. You gotta take mushrooms. And you gotta do mushrooms anytime. August 21st, 22nd, or 23rd, or 23rd. Pittsburgh with Big J at the end of last Sunday of August. Me and Big J co-headlining Pittsburgh at the Improv. Then September, what do we got? Nashville, Tacoma, Spokane. Do some camping. I'm having fun this year on my tour. I ain't gonna fuck it around. Miami with Big J. Co-headlining, having a good time in the Miams. Skankfest. I believe I'll allow it to not be canceled. In Houston, November. And then Orlando, Tampa, a little Florida run. Oklahoma City. I think I'm about to add another Texas gig. And then Cleveland next year. Check out AriShaffir.com for tickets to that. Oh, I got to tell you about more shit I've been fired from. This is fun. Have you guys ever been fired? It really does suck. So when I got fired from Domino's, the thing is, they owed me money because you work mostly on tips and steals. You had to steal. Looking back, you didn't have to steal, but to make that level of margins, you had to steal. But I also had the hourly. The hourly was like $5 an hour, 4, 3, 2 even maybe, I don't know. They paid you for the positives for Domino's. They paid you for miles driven, 15 cents a mile, which is great. I didn't realize the wear and tear it put in your car. I probably crashed the car, so it didn't even matter. But 15 cents a mile. Tips, which was about I think it ended up averaging $2.10, $2.25 per delivery, which is great. And then the couple bucks an hour, I think 3 to 5, I forget what it was, $5 an hour. And then, another like 10 or 12 bucks in stolen dollars per hour from the customer. It was a good job, man. It was a really good job. And they told me like, hey, you're not learning your route. You're constantly late. I didn't have the heart to tell them that I ran out of gas. Didn't have the heart to tell them that I fucking have been stealing all the time. So they fired me, but I still had that paycheck waiting, and I didn't want to go in. I was so embarrassed about getting fired. I didn't know at the time that Domino's was a fuck up job. If you work at Domino's, you don't have pride. It was a necessary thing to be born without. To be working as a Domino's delivery boy. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're like, oh, they're going to know I got fired. Like, who's going to know? Domino's delivery drivers? And if you're a Domino's delivery driver, then yes, I mean, you fucked up in your life and you suck. And there's no value you have in this earth. Honestly, if drones got going better, you would easily be replaced by a drone never took a bite of your pizza. A drone never took his thumb and fucking put it right there, took a fucking pepperoni and shoved it right down and then didn't lick his finger because he kept kosher at the time. Yeah, I had to go down there. I waited like a month and a half to go get my check. And then I was like, all right, you need a check. And they're like, hey, we got to wait for you. Like, nobody even cared. They made everybody a staff pizza once, and I couldn't eat it because I was keeping kosher. Fuck. I'd only worked there fucking a year later. What is this? This isn't even my Gucci flip-flops. Oh, that's for the Kim Congdon episode. I got fired from the North Hill service desk. You know what? We should take a word from our sponsor real quick. And then I'll tell you about 2 more times I got fired. By the way, if you are looking for a job and you live in the Denver area, anywhere near Denver, the Comedy Works is now hiring. They're opened up again, the best club in the country. One of the clubs if I had one set left to do in the world, like one set and then go to heaven because I go to heaven because I'm a social justice warrior, it would be at the Comedy Works downtown. It's just an amazing club. It's the first club I won over Joe Rogan, I'm pretty sure. And they have to hire a completeness. They had to furlough everybody. So they're hiring everybody. Go to comedyworks.com/jobs and just look at what they're hiring. They're hiring bar staff, wait staff, door staff, managers, admin. They have to hire from scratch. So go there, work there. It's a fucking wonderful place. Wendy treats her fucking staff with respect. Go there right now. comedyworks.com/jobs and go fucking find yourself a job there. They would always be so cool. They were the first ones to remember to go. They would go, safety, we have to do safety meeting. I'm like, what's a safety meeting? Like, out in the garage. I'm like, safety meeting out in the garage. This is before weed was legal. Safety meeting. They all got high. God, I love that fucking club. I got to be back there. I got to figure out a real way to do some fucking ski touring. Taos, Big Sky. I got to figure out some fucking gigs, man. I want to fucking ski. I got this hernia done. Use it. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to have this whole fucking ski tour planned. Salt Lake, I got to do something like that. Go to Alta. And then I'm going to injure myself the fucking first time out. And then I'm just going to have this fucking cold tour for no reason. I'll drink some hot cocoa. So guys, we'll be right back with another fucking story of how I got fired. But before we do, let's have a quick word from a sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com offers professional counseling done securely online. So, guys, whenever I get a new sponsor offer, I care about my fans. I do. It's the reason I won't go play every market. I only come back when I have a good new hour, like a really solid good new hour. I just got an offer to play Austin in July, and I'm like, I'm not doing Austin. I just got back from fucking 6 months in Ecuador. I'm not ready. Good money. I'm like, I can't do it. It's not fair. It's not fair. You know, as soon as I get back, like, you ready to go on the road? I'm like, no, I need time to work off the rust. That's why when I do my fucking weekly show at the Stand, it's like I surround it with other great comics. So my rusty shit is not what you're going to be paying for. But like, so I get a sponsor, and I'm like, what's their product? What are they selling? So if it's a gambling sponsor, I'm like, no, the product is you guys. You guys losing money is the only way they make money. No. And you don't get anything in return. So I don't do that. And then when I heard about this, like online counseling, I was like, wow. I was so intrigued because that's what was stopping me from getting help. When I was at my worst, when I was at my most depressed, I couldn't get out of bed. I'd spend all day in bed. And you know what stopped me from getting help? Money. It was a financial problem. I couldn't do it. Joe Rogan, bless his heart. Who says bless his heart? He didn't understand depression. We've been over this on his podcast and mine. He was like, just go outside and do exercise. And it's like, you just don't get it. You don't get it. I couldn't even go to the fridge. It was an impossible task. And the thing that stopped me from getting help was, one, a little bit of the stigma, which shouldn't be there, you guys. Everybody's going through shit now. COVID locked you into your the hopelessness that was around this country and the world. Of course it's going to wear on you. The elections, this fucking thing making you turn on your fucking friends and family, that they're trying to make you angry. You all know it. So it's hard to be fucking, have it all together, and you need some help. You need to get a counselor. And betterhelp.com/Ari, you get 10% off your order. 10% off your order if you go betterhelp.com/Ari. They're there to help you. They'll match you with a counselor that's right for you, whatever you got, depression, anxiety, I don't know what else, eating disorder, dysmorphia, I don't know. There's so much mental shit going on. And they're there for you. They have the professional counselors, and it's done securely online, so don't have to worry about anybody finding out. And it's affordable. More affordable than traditional offline counseling. Financial aid is available. This company's so good. Once you sign up, BetterHelp will match you with your own licensed professional therapist who you'll be able to communicate with in under 48 hours. You can. It's not a crisis line. It's not a self-help. It's professional counseling. You can send a message to your counselor anytime, and you'll get a timely and thoughtful responses. If this was around, it would have helped me so much. BetterHelp.com/Ari for 10% off your order. I got my friend. I'm doing pretty good right now. I got my friend who's going through something. I'm not going to diagnose her because I'm not equipped to. I got her an account. And she's going to tell me what the process was. Signing up, how she felt about it. And in 2 weeks, they're going to sponsor another episode of this. I think I'm going to do a podcast about anxiety. And social, what's the word where you get all weird at parties? Social anxiety? I don't know, something like that. I'm going to tell you what the process was for someone going through something. But you should look into it, you guys. BetterHelp.com/Ari, 10% off your first month. Legitimately, you guys, if you're having problems, if you're having like trouble, you know what I'm talking about. Get help. BetterHelp.com. It's for real. I care about you guys. BetterHelp.com. I'm not going to come to Austin. There's a reason I'm starting my tour. Like, BetterHelp.com, you guys. There's a reason I'm starting my tour when I do, because I need to get ready. So I'm telling you, I care about you. BetterHelp.com/Ari, and get yourself some help. Get yourself some help. We all need help. Not you guys don't have Rogan fucking throwing cash at a problem. So this is your answer. This is your answer. Don't give up. Get help. All right, now back to the episode. Thank you very much, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's episode. So what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, getting fired. That does feed in with BetterHelp. That really does feed in with BetterHelp because, like, you get fired, you know it's going to fucking affect your mood. I got fired from the North Hill Service Desk at University of Maryland. I must have told this before. We used to steal albums from BMG and Columbia House. We would check in packages. That was our job at the North Hill Service Desk. Also to give out phone numbers, spare keys. That was us. One time, some chick, she came to the front. I think it was the North Hill Service Desk. Maybe Queen Anne's. I don't know. She came drunk as fuck. And guys, she was a classic slut. Past the slut shaming days, she was a classic slut. Like, she wanted to give it out. You know how the thing is that, like, oh, a woman's drunk, you can't take advantage. But what if a woman comes to the North Hill Service Desk? This isn't going where you think it's going. I didn't do anything. I was still a virgin back then. What if a woman comes to the North Hill Service Desk and asks for a number of a guy named John? And then you give it to her, and she calls. She's like, I use the fucking, inter-dorm phone. She calls, I'm like, fuck. Hangs up. Hey, how about this guy named Tony Johnson? I'm like, okay. Should I have his number? He's like, yep, here's his number. She calls. Not there. Fuck. Just bombed. Blackout drunk, looking to get fucked. Classic slut. Who's taking advantage of her? And she's just going to keep calling until she finds a guy to turn her out. And guess what? This classic slut is a story of fucking stick-to-itiveness. Because after 9 phone calls, she found somebody. She found somebody, and whoever it was wasn't her first option, for sure, or her second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh or eighth. But it was her 9th. And her 9th option found her in the right mood to fuck. Now, I believe she probably either fell asleep or threw up on that guy's cock. But they ended up together, and they have I don't know what they do. What else do we got? Okay, so I used to order Columbia House at BMG. I mean, I've told you this before, right? I must have told you this before. I must have. We would get packages. We logged them in, so we figured out we're the ones logging them in. So we would order albums to rooms that didn't exist, like bathrooms had a room number for no reason. Broom closets had a room number. So we would just go like Anne Arundel and then like have it go to a Queen Anne. Mrs. Fields. And we'd be like, room 001 didn't exist. So then we'd all be like, we'd see the package, be like, hey, who's damn, what other names did we use? Fuck. We used some good ones. Oh, who's Banana Rama? Anna Ram. Fuck it, I forgot. Anyway, whatever. And we'd be like, oh, that's me. And it's like, we remember the names we use. And then be like, here's your package. Until we all got caught. Because I guess BMG or Columbia House was like, or both, was like, hey, we're getting hundreds of packages sent there. I mean, dude, anybody, this is the heyday of radio. Anybody, you like this shirt? If you're watching on YouTube, you can order it. Is it merchpump.com? What's the site? I think it's Merch Pump, right? Is it podcastmerch.com? It's probably podcastmerch.com. Nope, GoDaddy. It's available. Anybody who had one hit. No, that's PodTrack. That's not it. Bennett, stop scratching, dude. Podcastmerch.com. Ari Shaffir. Yep. I don't know. Fucking search for it, man. The cat shirt. It's there. Ari Shaffir. Podcast merch. Okay. Podcastmerch.com. Ari Shaffir. Yeah, that's it. And nothing fucking comes up on that page. Great. Well, that's why I'm not fucking selling anything. You goddamn cunts. Oh, no, it's there. Oh, podcastmerch.com/collections/Ari-Shaffir. This is what happens when you work with a fucking Puerto Rican. Anyway, hundreds of packages would come. I mean, you had one hit, no doubt. One hit in. We didn't know they'd be big, but you didn't have to know. Elastica, fucking get that shit. Anybody, dude, anybody. Who was the band that Eminem discovered? Fuck. Seether, Veruca Salt. Anybody, dude. We just like one hit, heard it on the radio, like it, order it, or order the album, and you hear some great albums. And we stole the shit out of them. And one day you get called into the office by Fatty Patty. And what's going on? I have to ask you a question about all these CDs that have been coming in. That's right, not tapes. All these CDs that have been coming in. And I'm like, what's the question? She goes, well, you've been stealing them. And I was like, fuck. There's certain times where it's like, they're not like sniffing around on the trail. Like, they have the trail. They have you dead to rights. But she asked me something that I couldn't comply with. She goes, we know you've been stealing it. I need you to tell me who else has been doing it. And I'm like, oh, come on, lady. Come on. She goes, you can keep your job. And the job was good because it paid you $5.50 an hour, which was decent back then. Plus, it paid you $5.50 an hour towards tuition. So you got some money, and then you got some money off your tuition, too. It's pretty good. So that was my spending money, and then also it would bring down my student loans. And I was like, come on, don't make me do that. She goes, you have to. And she goes, just so you know, everyone else, we've caught them already, and they've told. But I need to know that you're coming clean with me. So I need you to tell me as well. And I'm like, lady, please don't do this. Please. I mean, don't. And she goes, you have to. And I'm like, I can't. And she goes, then you're going to be fired. And it wasn't like I didn't think about it. I thought about it. I wasn't going to do it. He was always in the movies. You don't rat. So I called her bluff. I was like, I can't tell anybody. She goes, okay, I respect that. You're fired. I'm like, what? No, in the movies it's supposed to be like, I respect that. That was a test. You passed. You're a good fucking employee, a friend of the other employees. Fired. Got out. Everybody else who had been in there fucking ratted on me. That's how they knew. That's how they fucking knew. I got ratted on like a motherfucker. Gay Andrew, Stacy, all of them ratted on me. We didn't have to give the CDs back. I did get my job back, though. Like 6 months later. It's more of a social job than anything. I also masturbated on the desk one day. And by one day, I mean at least 2 different times that I can remember now. Guys, are you following me on Patreon? Patreon.com/Ari Shaffir. I appreciate it if you would. Putting out new content all the time. I got a great new recorder. It allows me to fucking do it with guests. That Bobby Kelly episode from last week, that's just an example of the kind of shit we do. And just so you know, your Patreon money, $5 is your fucking initial offer. If you want to put 12, you get stickers. 30, you get a fucking t-shirt, a sweatshirt. Every 3 months, I think. Exclusive, only to Patreon members. But even if you just do the $5, that $5 goes to buying Synergy. Synergy Raw Kombucha from GT. They're not a sponsor because I've never even approached them about sponsorship, but they are incredibly expensive. It's $5 for a fucking thing like this. That's right. If you join my Patreon, you will go straight to getting me a kombucha to keep me fucking healthy. And as long as I'm healthy, I will keep pissing people off while making other people laugh. I'm a social justice warrior. I got Tony out of jail. So let's see. What else do we got? I think that's all we got, you guys. Should we? Oh, and then Mitzi. I got to tell you about Mitzi firing me. Fuck. We got to start the episode. Fuck. You know what? I mentioned him on the episode, which I did right over there. You can't see off camera. So you guys, I say we start the episode. I don't know what else there is to stay tuned for the outro because a column that I found Bill Burr wrote. I mentioned it on the episode and I fucking found it somehow. Bandit, I can't pick you up. I'm not allowed to pick up anything over 25 pounds. So that means my boyfriend has to pick up everything. It's great. I also can't fucking smoke. I wish these doctors would hit you with a fucking... You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to tell you can't smoke till afterwards. Guys, next week's podcast with Kim Congdon is a fucking banger. She was great. All about crazy Latino chicks. Let's start it, you guys. Let's start it. I can't decide between naming this episode The Firing Squad or You're Fired. I think I'm going to name it... I thought of You're Fired before, but now I'm thinking Firing Squad would be way, way better. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Ari Shaffir Skeptic. Let's just start, right? Ari Shaffir Skeptic, episode 427. Is it 7? Is it 8? I got it right here. 427. Wait. No, I lost my train of thought. I haven't smoked pot in fucking 4 days. This goddamn hernia surgery. Oh, I got diarrhea. God damn it, I got diarrhea. I gotta go take a fucking shit. 427. The Firing Squad. Unless Marissa's already started editing You're Fired. With GrahamKay. Oh, and make sure to check out a special. Stupid Jokes. Starts now. GrahamKay has gotten fired more than anyone you know. That's probably a fair statement.
I hope so.
There is something that happens
I hope
to you.
to God for the sake of the economy.
Yeah. Once you have gotten to the point in a job where they're like, I know we hired you. You already trained. We no longer want you here. It's such an utter failure on one part or the other. Like, what goes wrong to the point where they're like, get out of here?
I mean, so much. I mean, sometimes I don't even know. Here's the thing: is like I guess I have like a lot of learning disabilities, whatever.
Yeah.
In school, I wouldn't ask questions because I thought I knew the answer, and then 2 weeks later, they'd be like, "Here is the big presentation you were supposed to be working on," and people be bringing in all their like projects, and I thought it was supposed to be a drawing, and they have like dioramas and everything, and I'm like, I had no idea this was a diorama project.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Like, you know, like I just got the instructions wrong.
Yeah.
And most people...
And that's why you've been fired?
Well, it's just like... I go to jobs and I think I'm doing the right thing, and I'm not asking how to do it properly, but I'm doing it wrong the whole time, and they just fire me.
Yeah.
So it's like you ask me, how bad does it get? My answer, I don't know.
Because you've never
I just
done it
show up
correctly.
to work one day, and they go, "You've been doing this wrong for weeks. You have to leave." And I go, "Really?"
No feedback?
Yeah. It's just
What was
like-
the first job you got fired from?
So I was a paper boy.
You got fired from throwing papers on the ground.
Yeah, I didn't show up. People, and I got the addresses wrong, and I couldn't remember. I'm like really disorganized. I couldn't remember.
Not showing up is a big one.
Who got the paper, who didn't. I couldn't get the instructions properly of where to pick them up.
Wait.
A
What do
lot.
you mean who got the paper, who didn't? Are you
you'd have
going
to-
back over the same block?
You're going over the list of who gets the paper delivered, and then you forget. "Ah, did I miss that house?" And then so you maybe deliver 2 papers to that house.
But you can see there's a paper there.
But then an hour later, you go back.
Why would you go back?
Because you have all these papers left over, and you shouldn't have any left over.
Right, so then you try to correct your issue.
But then you realize you're giving double paper to some people and none to
And none
others.
to- yeah.
So somebody, it's an hour, they pick it up and whatever. I got fired. Fine.
Yeah.
I was like,
What do they tell you?
12.
What do they tell you? At 12, what do they tell us? And by the way, it's so annoying too because
Yeah.
you're at home going like, "Where the fuck's my paper?" And you're like,
Yeah.
"Some loser, dude.
Yeah.
Some loser got hired.
Some dumb kid.
Some dumb fucking kid."
I didn't have a lot riding on it. I didn't really need it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to, I was still going to be able to eat.
Not a lot of writing on it. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good way to look at it.
So, I mean, that was the first time I got fired.
How'd you take it that first time?
I think I think my parents were just angry at me for disappointing them again.
Yeah, because they're probably like, "You're going to learn some responsibility. You're going to
Yeah.
get a job," and then you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm going to call your bluff.
I
I'm
will
gonna-"
not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
yeah, yeah.
I love how you laughed and went, ow.
It hurts so much. God damn.
Hernia
Oh,
surgery. Oh boy, sorry, pal.
I think I realized I have not showered since then. Do I still have those fucking nodes on?
Yep.
I do.
We got 2 big nodes on there.
God damn it! How
want
did
me to
they
rip
not?
'em off?
No, but why didn't they take them off?
Did they shave your belly button?
Yeah, they shaved my whole chest.
Looks good.
Thanks.
You rip them off? They left a little bit of nipple hair. That's nice.
That is nice. I did have a male anesthesiologist, one of those, and he goes, "You're lucky you got a male because women don't care about chest hair." And then he puts shit like in other places.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. Where else have you gotten fired from?
Well, I wrote.
You wrote them down.
I wrote them down. I have 19 places I
Ow.
got. No, jeez. Fuck. 19 places.
3M. We don't make the things. We make the things better.
Yeah.
19 places you've been fired from?
They make tape.
That's right.
And then they're like, well, we could do nodes or whatever. Diodes.
What the fuck is 3M? They
I
got to
don't
be
know.
like some weird Monsanto group. They've got to be taking over the world.
Yeah.
Who runs 3M? No one talks about them.
They make Scotch tape.
They make no, but they don't make the things. They make the things you like better. What does that mean? Isn't that their commercial?
I don't know.
3M. We don't make.
And what are the 3 M's? What do they stand for? Money.
These are all great questions. 3M. We don't make the shit. We make the shit you think better. Oh, come on. Okay, here. 3M. Who the fuck makes 3M?
Monsanto.
3M.
Monsanto Viacom.
Who is it? 3M is what company? Okay, that might work. 3M Company is an American multinational conglomerate corporation. That's evil. You got those words. That's just evil.
Conglomerate.
3M Company is an American multinational conglomerate corporation operating in the fields of industry, worker safety, U.S. healthcare, and consumer goods. Stock price.
I love consumer goods.
CEO Mike Roman. Who are they? Founders William McGonigal. Have I heard of him? Yeah. Anyway, what kind of are they? Is 3M evil? How about that? You think that'll have anything? Sorry.
I mean, I'm sure.
5 deeply evil corporations that transcend everyday badness.
I feel like That is the most even-handed reporting from who's just used the word badness.
Here's one from the independentsentinel.com. 3M, an evil corporation betraying Americans. Updated. While hospitals, medical facilities, whatever. 3M is selling the desperately needed equipment to foreign nations. Why? Because foreign nations pay them cash. All right.
Foreign nations.
Oh, this is during COVID. Okay, so
I love that there's foreign nations.
Yeah.
Not nations inside our country.
no, foreign nations are selling it off to China. I guess they're doing business.
So anyway, I wrote down about 19 places I got fired
That's crazy, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you?
from. I got a lot of learning disabilities.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm
Do you?
dyslexic.
Are you
can't-
dyslexic?
Yeah, I got. People say they have ADD. I have real ADD. I have obsessive compulsive disorder.
Pronounce Benadryl. Say the word Benadryl.
Benadryl.
You're fine. You're clear.
That
In my
means
book.
I don't have.
Sure. In a test I just made up.
Wow.
Yeah. It sounds official though, right?
What if I just went?
Benadryl. Benadryl.
The Jews. Wait, what did I say? Where was I?
Oh, I just came to.
I'm back.
I'm just hating the Jews so much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So go ahead.
Paperboy, done. I'm going to see if we can get through all these.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
Buffalo Charlie's. That's when I was 14 years old. That was my first ever restaurant job. I was a 14
years old?
Yeah,
Fucking Canada, man.
dish pit cleaner.
Where are you from? Ottawa?
Ottawa, capital of Canada. 7-hour drive north.
Super safe. And if you do mushrooms there, wander around during Blues Fest.
Oh, that's good. I saw James Brown at Blues Fest. I hopped the fence.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, where
Did
did
a
you
couple
hop the fence at
spins.
Blues Fest?
Where in the perimeter of Blues Fest?
You got in
Ottawa?
by hopping the fence?
Yeah, it was
trying
in
to
the,
remember how to get
It
in.
was when I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it at the City Hall location or did you see it at LeBreton Flats location? Because LeBreton Flats had a lot more porous fence system.
I saw it where it encompassed the War Remnants Museum.
That's where, yeah, that's LeBreton Flats. You could have snuck in there.
Wow. And
Yeah.
I fucking went and performed instead. Got in that
Dumbass.
way. What a fucking stupid. Dude, I went 3 years in a row to that thing.
You performed there 3 years in a row? That's awesome.
It was. They did Nasty Show 1 year.
Yeah.
And I went
It was
with
through JFL.
JFL.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I put in for it because I'm like, I really want to go again. It's a 3-week music festival.
It's legit good.
Yeah.
There's like zero blues there.
Zero blues.
Yeah.
They have like one guy
Yeah,
every
yeah,
year,
yeah.
maybe Tedeschi trucks, whatever.
Yeah.
But then, but you're like, oh, what a great lineup. Like, but you're not going to see that lineup because you're there for 4 days, and
Yeah.
and Green Day's there 7 days later.
Yep.
It's just like every Thursday through Sunday for like pretty much a month.
There's not a lot going on in Ottawa, and then they get like government funding to like.
Yeah.
All right, people of Ottawa.
But if
Please
you
don't move.
If you do get fucked up on mushrooms and wander out, you'll be scared because it's a foreign city. Just know.
You knew that was coming.
I knew it was coming. I almost saw it right then, and I was like, let me try to put it up. Just know that you will be the most dangerous person in Ottawa.
Yes.
They are rightfully more scared of you than you would be of them.
A dirty American, of course.
Of course, one fucked up on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Hallucinogens, no less.
Uh-oh. I caught that.
It was falling off.
Yeah.
Dude, you're one of the
I used my
best guests of
natural
all time.
athleticism.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want me to do that next time? I didn't have surgery 2 days ago.
Okay. Yeah, you do it next time. So Ottawa. Wait. So where'd you sneak in the fence? I'm trying to think the perimeter. I mean, I just walked in with a pass. I wasn't even thinking how to sneak
I've snuck
in.
into a lot of music festivals and bars. I'm really good at that.
Really?
I'm not good at keeping a job, but I can sneak into things very well. I am a tall, confident white.
So you just walk in.
I
like
walk
you know.
right in.
How do you like when you hear people like, excuse me? You must hear that, right? Where are you going?
Sometimes, but then if you have enough a distance,
Yeah.
and there's a crowd in front
You're
of you,
in a crowd.
you can.
We were at South by once, and
Yeah.
we were waiting in line to see.
But once you're past them,
Then it's over.
They look bad if they call you out. All you have to do is get 3 feet past them,
And if they don't,
and if they have a bunch of people, and if they're alone, they'll come and get you. But if there's a line in front of them, and
People see
they
them.
look like they're doing a bad job, they have other people. Like it's just. Then other people will get the idea to sneak in or whatever. So if you just walk
Right.
in, they're like, that guy doesn't look like a terrorist. It's fine.
Right. Yeah,
You know?
it's so great too once you get in for free at anything. It's just like,
Oh, once I was in Europe and I bought. It was like I was living in Europe and I snuck into an island music festival on an island.
How? Swim there?
I went over the bridge and I waited for, it was like a movie. I waited for like the century to, I waited for it to get dark.
Yeah.
And then I waited for the light not to be shone there, and I waited for shined.
It's definitely not Sean. I don't know what it is, but I know it's not Sean.
Sean Kemp.
Yeah.
And then
That's great. If it falls, it falls.
it's gonna fall again.
Yeah, it's gonna
and
fall
anyway, so I waited for the light, and I waited for the guard to like, because I knew I waited in a bush, and I
Yeah.
waited to see the pattern.
Yeah.
And then
It's all right. At some point, you just got
people are
to
gonna think this is not a professional operation. The literal facade is falling.
I didn't want to get the sticky tape because I didn't want to like ruin these walls.
Yeah.
So I got the whatever, and then I don't know why I didn't use more.
Yeah. Well,
Well, what are you gonna do?
what are you gonna do? But anyway,
That's crazy. You got into Blues Fest. I remember Blues Fest. They would do this thing. I was there with Big J. That my second year, I think, or maybe
Yeah.
third year, and
that's awesome.
yeah, and we got an ounce of weed, which was more than enough for fucking 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Took mushrooms, watched Perfect Circle. It was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But every time we'd pass the security guard, they'd shine the flashlight on your joint fingers, you know, when you're holding a joint. And they just shine like, and they look like what? Because I wouldn't think twice. It's Canada, you know. Even back then, it was not a problem.
Yeah.
But I guess festivals. And then they're like, hey, that. And I just kept following the light, like past my finger to like
Yeah.
what it must be shining on the ground.
Yeah. That tree.
Yeah, like what? Like drop it. Like drop what? What are you guys looking at? And then eventually it's like the joint is like, ugh, are you serious? And you throw it out, and then you just immediately take out another one. Like you just walk away
Turns
2
out
feet.
you needed that ounce.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It made it way good. Mm-hmm. Damn, you saw James Brown there. That's fucking cool.
It was rad. Did a
Yeah.
couple twirls.
He did?
Yeah. He
Nice.
was like 75 doing 360s.
I used to try to sneak in with Rogan when he was like late for the UFCs. And he would like late constantly. So he'd like get out of the SUV that was driving us. And he's like, all right, get his information for afterwards so we can like, you know, tell him when we're ready to go. But he's like, I gotta go. Like, he's like, they're like, get the fuck in here, man. We're like
Yeah.
starting the cameras.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm like getting this in. And then he's gone and he's my in to get in.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I'm like, I know I can text him or text his manager to like get someone to get me. But I was always like, let me see if I can. I'm already in the back.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get all the way
Sure.
through without any
That's
credentials.
exciting.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I usually could do it.
Yeah.
If you just act pretty confident. Like, Sir, I was like, I'm over there.
Yeah.
It's, you can sort of just do it. Tall white. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, one time I was in Europe. I was trying to see a hockey game. It was the NHL strike, so they were all over there playing in the World Championships. Normally they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
All the good people would still be in the NHL. And
Look at it.
I bought. I know. Look at that. Looks like gum. And I bought the. I mean, this is way more exciting. Whatever the bullshit I'm talking
It
about.
really is exciting. Yeah.
I bought fake tickets for like $200, and it was all the money I had. I think it was like €100, and that's like 200 Canadian dollars. And I had no more money, and I bought them off just like a scalper, and I was bound and determined to get in. So I snuck through 3, like the bag check guy. I
Damn.
snuck through the like security guy, and I snuck through the ticket checker, and then. There was like a guy. That's one where I like ran in and ducked behind people and like I'm in.
Yeah.
And then I like went to the gate, and I went to go walk into the gate, and there was a man there, and he was an old man, and he was like, "Let me see your ticket." And I was like, "Fuck! I can't believe I got all the way here, and I'm like, I can see the seats, and I can't get in." And I go, "Oh, I threw it out. I thought I was in." But he
Oh,
goes,
yeah.
"Oh yeah," and he goes. He
yeah.
pulls out of his little pocket and he goes, "Did they look like this?" And he gives me a ticket.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Was that guy Jesus?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So anyway,
What else we got?
Buffalo Charlie's fired me because they said after one day of working,
Busboy.
I was a dishwasher.
And you broke.
I didn't know that. I thought that I saw on TV that if you had a job, you got an hour-long lunch.
Yeah.
So I
You
went
just took off.
during the lunch rush.
I love it. 14 too. You're like, I didn't know. You're like, what? And then they can't even comprehend how you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But you're like, I thought you were allowed.
They also said I didn't have multitasking skills, which was true.
Why would you have to have one task? Wash dishes.
Well, it was too much for me. I was like way behind always.
You're fine on the plates, but the spoons are just piling up.
I don't think they wanted a child in there. They wanted to talk about pussy and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then, but I got fired from that.
Buffalo Charlie's in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went back all summer until they paid me because I had nothing else to do.
Okay.
That's
Did you
when
really?
Yeah. Because I wanted to use the money for that to rent videos.
What do you mean you went back until they paid you? I don't understand.
They didn't pay me for that day work because I only worked one day and they fired me.
So you kept going back and be like, you owe me fucking money.
Yeah, like $30, whatever the hell it was.
I 100% agree.
It's a long walk. It's like an hour walk.
No, they owed you.
Yeah.
You could fire me. I get it, but
Yeah.
I worked.
That's right.
Yeah.
You hired a child.
It's not just for child's protection, the child labor laws. It's also for the company's protection.
Right.
You guys fucked up.
That's the era where my dad was like, you have to write a resume and get to work. And I was like, I'm 14. And he was like, what am I going to put on my resume?
Yeah,
I'm
what resume? I've been fired from such jobs as Choco Charlie's. And
My resume when I was a kid, it said raked Judith Hoy's leaves.
no fucking way.
I would just go to these like
great.
businesses.
That's great.
And he on the way to work, he would drop me off at like different places that had businesses, not just restaurants, like businesses.
Yeah.
And he would go hand out resumes, and then
That's not going to work. You fucking old man.
yes, and I
That's
know.
never going to work,
I know.
dude. It ain't fucking Vietnam.
I know. And then he
Ugh.
would drive to work and he would give me bus fare to go home. And eventually I would just throw everything in the garbage and walk home and use the bus fare to rent VHS tapes from their local place. But
Yeah.
one day, this is true, I walked in, he goes, go up there, go in that office building. I go in the office building.
Or the office building.
Yeah. Go in the office building. So, my dad was a leprechaun. And then I go up there. I like pick a random thing. The elevator doors are open. I go. There's a secretary. There's a bunch of cubicles behind her. It's just an office. And I go, hi, I'd like a job. She goes, okay, great. We get a lot of that here, or whatever she said. She's like, where? And I go, what do you mean here? I'd like to work here. She goes, here? I go, yeah, here. She goes, this is the unemployment office. I walked into the unemployment office asking for a job there.
I mean, you would think they would hire some people.
So you'd think.
You'd think they would need no HR person. Like, they would just be like, people are coming.
Yeah.
We'll just, you know what I mean? Anyone who walks in here needs a job. So we can just be like, hey,
Yeah.
we got something for you.
That's good.
Thanks.
That's good stuff.
The special is called what?
Stupid jokes.
Stupid Jokes. Recorded live at the Montreal Comedy Festival.
That's how they say it.
It's crazy.
They say it like they're having a slight aneurysm.
Yeah, try it, guys. Go to Fafoons and say, hey, how do you like? I was like, Montreal.
Mom.
On YouTube now. Yeah. What was your next job?
So Buffalo Charlie's.
How old are you now? The Buffalo Charles is 14.
I'm like, at this point, I'm like 15 or 16.
I mean, I can't believe you're still even working.
Yeah.
You think you'd be like, I'm taking some years off.
I went to a landscaper. I got a landscape. This is in high school. I got a landscaper job. I got fired from that because it was literally, I'd show up at this guy's house and he would pick up a bunch of ex-cons and me, and we would drive to a place.
Yeah.
And then I was the worst by far. And then he was like, all right, this guy needs to work alone. He let me like do my own thing, but I was just so bad. There were like pine cones everywhere, and I got fired. Fair enough. Next job, I worked at a golf course, the Royal Ottawa Golf Course, where the Prime Minister plays.
Oh, I've worked at a golf course.
Oh yeah, I showed up early. My job was, this is like in college. Like
How could you get okay?
Yeah.
Right now in the story,
Yeah.
I don't see a way that you've gotten fired. Showing up early. That's as much as I know about you in this job so far.
Well, you gotta wait. You gotta get there at like 5:30 a.m., 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah, that's right. You got to be there before the first.
Yeah, and my job was to rake bunkers and fill in divots with divot mix. Well, we used to our golf carts had governors on them,
So
and
you can only go so
could
fast.
lift the seat and push on the governor and go fast.
Yeah.
And we crashed the golf course into the water.
Golf
Cart into the water. And then
That's it. Then you're fired.
no, I didn't get fired then.
Oh.
I got fired for sleeping under a tree.
I mean,
I woke up and we used to also do a thing where we would pretend that
that's what Buddha did.
we would pretend that we got hit by a golf ball, but when someone would yell 4, and we'd have like a golf ball in our hands, and we'd collapse on the golf course on our little cap. They gave us like riding caps, and they
Yeah.
would like fall, and we'd throw a golf ball and like pretend we got hit. And
That's
then,
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And then
Did you ever do the thing where you're like, after it rains, you take the golf cart or range cart or whatever, and you go out there and you just like slam the brakes and spin and just do donuts?
Yeah.
I almost got fired for that.
Okay.
The golf pro was like, "Are you tearing up my driving range?" And we're like, "Yes."
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't think. I was just thinking we were having fun, but yes, I am also incidentally.
I thought this was good, clean fun.
I loved working on a golf course.
It's so early though.
It is very early. I was late one time, and I could have been fired,
Mm-hmm.
but so was the other guy that was supposed to be there to open up the golf cart like room. And the guy was so mad at us that he just made us do some like menial test that doesn't ever need to be done, like once a year maybe. Wash all the like the motors or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
when are we doing this? I'm like, later he was like, "We're being punished, man." I was like, "Oh right,
Right.
yeah." Because if that first member gets there, it's like, "I want a card." Like they're not charged. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta charge them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a skill. I can't.
Okay, so how did he fire you from that job? You were sleeping under a tree. It's the right place to sleep.
I had
It's-
my
it's
little
very rustic.
riding cap like this,
Yeah,
and I was under a tree,
I love sleeping at work.
and he
Yeah,
went on my riding cap, and I looked up, and my boss was there, and he's like, "You're fired," or like, "Come to the office."
would have been better if he just did it right there.
Yeah.
Like you're probably like,
But I knew that's what it meant. I knew I was on thin ice. But it was the end of the summer. I got my money.
yeah. I used to work at Arlington National Cemetery. We'd sleep all the time. If they let us off,
You worked at the cemetery?
but like a national cemetery, like for heroes and such. Yeah, it's where all the all the straight lines. I think remember
Yeah.
Private Ryan when he's
Yeah,
like that's
Sure.
that's probably where it was.
It's a good place to sleep.
It was a great place to because there were so many far away places. So they drop you off to pick up weeds. You pick the weeds pretty fast, and then you just like
As long as you got your
milk
work
it.
done, who cares?
Yeah. Or
I didn't get my work done.
what I was shown was all these black guys working there, and they taught me how to fucking work smart. So if you ball up a bunch of newspapers and coat the bottom of a trash can with the newspaper, all you gotta do is cover up that layer of balled up newspapers, and then it looks like you picked hella weeds. Yeah, work smart, and then it's like then we sleep, dude.
That's rad.
Yeah,
I like
They
that.
were great.
Then I got a job in the Canadian Post Office.
Oh, okay.
In
Were you
the
a
office.
Mountie? That was not a Mountie.
Yes, everything is a Mountie in Canada.
Yeah.
The mail is delivered by Mounties on horseback. you do,
I
Yeah.
assume that's true.
yeah.
Ow. What did you do at the post office? You're like Bukowski, worked at the post office.
Yeah, I was doing I was doing data entry, and I would just do books on tape and do data entry.
yeah.
It was like the worst job in the world.
Yeah.
But then I got a job.
How'd you get fired from that one? Oh, because
I was too slow, and then they transferred me to looking at trying to like with my eyes try and look at all the money orders and see if I could see fake ones,
yeah,
which I kind of liked.
yeah, that's cool.
But
That's really cool.
A lot of fake ones got past the old system.
Damn.
And then but it was a summer job, and I got fired, and towards the end it was fine.
Yeah. That's not bad.
But then I leveraged that job once I graduated university. I found this online. I wanted to travel, but I didn't have any money, and I found this online program through the Canadian government that they would send people overseas and pay for their internship if you were under 30 and had a university degree, for the idea that we would increase trade down the road, links between different countries, send their
cool.
like educated young people over. And you could do anything from you could dig a ditch in Botswana if you wanted, or you could work with a DJ in London, like anything there and in
Whoa.
between. And I got this job. I was like, well, I could say I worked logistics at Canada Post, and I got this job doing logistics for a private American shipping company in Budapest that shipped things into Iraq
Yeah.
via America into Iraq, and into Iraq army bases in the height of the war. This is 2005, and then I was a war profiteer, and they
What?
because we made money off the war. Like if we were the middleman. If an American army, we shipped everything that an American army base would need other than weapons. So nails, comic books, wood, rebar, whatever. Anything. And so I didn't know that we were going to be doing that. They kind of hired me saying that they were doing work for NATO, like they're going to be building hospitals and shit in Iraq, like blown up hospitals and infrastructure and stuff. And I just got really, I would like call the Iraqi customs office to try and, you know, expedite things and get things moved in and whatever. But they would, but it would be, but Iraqi customs was run by Halliburton. So some Southern woman would answer, not like an Iraqi person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is how they make their money. They let them have their own president, but America privatized everything else and took the money, the whole government system. And then they would go like, if I had something from DynCorp, which is the other big military bad company, evil company, like literally evil. Halliburton and DynCorp are both like legit evil, and Grumman, but they were actually competing
to see who'd be the most profitable evil.
Yeah, but Halliburton ran the customs, so if I had a DynCorp shipment in of like rebar or whatever, rebar is like the metal skeleton of a concrete building. If I had like a shipment of that coming in, they would put a halt to it, and it would always take way longer than if it was Halliburton rebar or Halliburton whatever. And I was like, this is the most corrupt fucking shit in the world. And I remember one of my like immediate bosses, not the boss, but I was telling him this, and he was like, he was like an Englishman, and he was like, yeah, mate. He's like, we're the mafia. You break someone's windows and you go, look, I sell windows. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. And then I got drunk every Friday they used to take us out for this is in Budapest. I was living in Budapest when this was going on.
Very cool, by the way.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I had like a girlfriend who was a stewardess and everything.
Really?
It was so dope. And then
it's like a spy's life.
Yeah. But except I was just like, anyway, we got drunk every Friday. We had like a take us out, get drunk, appetizers thing. Yeah. And I wasn't getting paid a lot of money, but so I would definitely take advantage of this. I was like, free dinner, get drunk, of course.
Okay.
And I just was getting really pissed off about and feeling pretty guilty about being a war profiteer. And I sat beside the boss that day. Just by chance, he sat beside me, and I was like, this is not going to be good in about 4 beers.
Oh, no.
And then, sure enough, I got drunk. And
you get rowdy?
Well, no, I just called him a fucking war profiteer.
It sounds worse than it is. Because if you end up like, he's like, what's that supposed to mean? It's like, it means you make profits because there's war.
Off of death.
Like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And he was like, no. And I remember I can't remember anything, we just got this huge argument over like World War I and whatever. And then
he let you go? No.
They moved me because the Canadian government was paying for my salary. They were like, how can we use this guy? We're not going to let him ship our shit anymore. Because I was doing a bad job on purpose at that point. And also I wasn't good at it. But
you were doing a bad job because you're like, I don't want you to profit off this. I want you to cost.
Yeah, kind of. But I still wanted to be there. It was kind of like a half measure. Like a real man would have just quit.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to be in Budapest.
That's honest.
And they transferred me to like another arm of their business where I was like in sales, like corporate moving. Like if they were like did shipping for Eastern European corporations. Like if the head of the Slovakian head of Toyota wanted to move to a different building, we would move all their chairs or whatever.
Okay.
And I just did a bad job at that. And then when my contract was up, I remember I left early to go on like a trip with my stewardess girlfriend because she paid for a trip, but I told her we were like on the rocks, and I still wanted to go on the trip, and so like it was a week-long trip in Mallorca, Spain, and then on the second day, she was like, I cheated on you because I know you're leaving.
What?
And she was like,
first of all, wait a minute, that's not the reason to cheat.
Yeah.
Because I know you're leaving. What? Yeah. So you can't wait?
No, she said because I know that you were cheating.
And were you cheating?
No. I did go to a music festival, and my ex-girlfriend just happened to be there from college.
Bullshit.
No, I didn't know.
Bullshit.
Yeah. But
We went to a music festival in Budapest.
I saw the White Stripes in a Jawardian castle in Novi Sad, Serbia.
That's very cool.
Yes,
But like,
I'm very cool.
But like,
I'm very hip.
Your ex-girlfriend just happened to be in Novi Sad, Serbia.
I mean, I was already going there, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm going to be there too," and I was like, "Cool."
Let's meet up and make out.
We didn't make out. I definitely wanted to though. But anyway, she was like, "I know you've been cheating on me because around your bed there was a bunch of crumpled up Kleenex." And that only happens after we have sex. And I didn't have the balls to tell her I was just jacking off.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
I was like, I thought I was so dumb. I was angry at her, and I was too embarrassed to say I was jacking off. So I said I was cheating on her, but I wasn't.
But also, it wouldn't have mattered. It's already
like,
over. You
over.
cheated on me. So
Yeah.
It's not like she's not gonna be like that. But like, oh shit, my bad. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were just jacking off. All right, let's put it behind us.
Yeah. And so we had.
But also, like, wait, what do you use tissues for during sex? Rolled up tissues. Use a fucking t-shirt, dude. What do you mean tissues?
I don't want a bunch of old jazz on my t-shirts.
Or a towel or a fucking hand towel.
I don't know, man. It was a different time. I was new. I wasn't probably that good, or I probably only had sex
Rolled up tissues.
for like 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
You know.
I love too. It's like you've been cheating on me. It's like, okay, so at this point, if you're the woman, the stewardess, you're like, I'm mad at this guy for cheating on me.
Yeah.
Whether she's right or wrong, but let's just say in her mind she's right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to respond by letting some dude stick his cock in me, and that's the way I'll get even. Not like you stole my leftovers, so I'm gonna take your leftovers. Like that makes more sense. But it's like, but and then who's this other guy? It's like, I just cashed in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some guy made a mistake of balling up jerk off toy tissues, and now some chick is letting me fucking come inside her.
Really turned out well for old Diedrich. Or whatever. Yeah, so I got fired from that job, and then I wanted to be a comedian anyway.
Yeah.
And they actually were gonna like go. They actually were like, we could move you. I had a job opportunity in Prague.
Yeah.
Working the same shitty job, but like with a different company. And I was like, I want to be a comedian. Fuck that shit. And
so you started in Budapest? The scene there is ripe for the taking.
no, well, my work visa was over because my contract was over. So I went.
Shut up.
So I went back to Canada, and I delivered sandwiches I lived with my parents and delivered sandwiches and tried to save money. And I worked as like I sold suits too.
Yeah.
But I was really bad at that. I was trying to save up money to go to New York, so I could start comedy there and do like a summer there. That was my plan.
Oh, right.
And I sold suits, but I got fired from that.
How'd you get fired from that?
Because I did a bunch of measurements wrong and I wasn't selling anything. My
So
sales were
it seems
way
like
down.
the only job that you... No. So there's two types of ways you've been fired.
There were Hugo
One,
Boss suits, and like their pants were different lengths. Like
that's
each
tough.
leg was
That's
like
tough.
different
That's
a lot
tough.
of the time.
Because you're paying a lot of money for a great suit, and then you're getting a bad suit.
Very bad suit. Yeah.
You're getting fired for complete lack of responsibility and really just fucking off, like sleeping at work. It's like,
Sure.
how dare you?
Yeah.
And then you've also been fired for a separate way of just like, you're just not taking to this job. You're just not good at it.
Yes.
And then I guess also straight sabotage.
Yes.
So 3 ways.
Yes. I did need that Hugo Boss job
Why?
for money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jobs.
Yeah.
That's what jobs. Yeah.
And yeah, and I didn't want to. I mean, I was like, it was like post. It was still like in that sort of like 2 years after college where you can kind of get away with living with your parents, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I gotta get out of here. It, like month by month is getting more embarrassing.
Because every one of your friends has a place of their own, so then you're like it's okay because you're 19 or 20, but at the
Yeah.
same time you're like, or 22, 23, but at the same
Yeah.
time it's like, dude, a lot of my friends have their own apartments.
Yeah, they live with like a bunch of guys. It's the
Yeah.
best or whatever. And I just was like, but I want to do comedy. Let me save like $3,000.
Sure.
And so I got fired from that, but then I got a job in New York in Mamaroneck, which is in up above New York. You can get there by the train in like 40 minutes.
Job doing what? And at this point, you don't have a green card, right?
No, I got nothing. This is a off the books summer job, and I figured, okay, a summer in New York doing stand up. At this point, I'm like 24, 25.
Damn.
25, and I'm
Came
like,
there then, yeah.
and I'm like, I feel like 25 is getting late.
It's a start.
And I need a summer in New York will be like 2 years in Ottawa, then I'll move to straight from New York
Summer
to
in New York would be like 2 years on. What do you mean?
doing stand up, like stage time.
Yeah,
wise.
yeah.
And so
Ottawa stage
I'm
time,
trying to
right.
make up for lost time in my head. Like sometimes when I see this a lot with people starting stand up late, like now, and like they're trying to make up. They're trying to figure a way to make up. But you can't.
You just got to do the time.
Yeah, and so I got this job. It was only for the summer. It was doing logistics. Again, I leveraged this logistics bullshit from Canada Post to another job.
Yeah.
Logistics for a rich Jewish summer camp, sending rich kids, organizing their travel in Europe. And the office was in this town above New York, which you could get to in 40 minutes from Grand Central Station.
Damn, yeah.
And
Cool.
I got fired from that job for sending a kid to the wrong city in Italy.
I mean, I'm almost all these. I'm seeing the I'm into workers' rights, you know, but like it's tough to not see the
We also had a meeting.
boss position.
We
on
also
these.
had a meeting and our staff meeting where
Just don't lose any children. You're like, nah, I can't help you on that, man. Can't.
and I fell asleep, and it's like a 4-person meeting. So
you
just
just-
imagine you're talking to 4 people behind your desk, and one of them falls asleep because I just can't work in offices.
Yeah.
And I think I was like out late doing comedy the night before or whatever, and so yeah, and then that. But I had enough money left over. I remember I made $800, and that was enough to pay for my month's sublet, the room I was renting. And then I was like, well, I have this whole month in New York. I'm not going to just waste it. I got to make money to eat
Okay.
instead of going home.
Fair.
And so I got all these like weird odd jobs, like helping people move on Craigslist and like whatever. And then I found, I was like, I'll get a restaurant job. I know that people work off the books in restaurants all the time. And I'd walk into these restaurants and there'd be like, you know, Russian ladies greeting you at the door, and you're like, not all of them have papers.
No way. And in fact, one of the clubs I used to work at, I'll tell you afterwards, had someone working that they were like, I don't get paid, I just get tips.
Yeah. And so I used to like to say the American restaurant economy, service industry is like a pyramid, and the bottom 2/3 is illegal workers. And once you take that out, it does not work. Are you putting a cushion in front of your wound?
Yeah, you're supposed to like hold it down.
Oh.
What do you mean it does not work? It doesn't.
All the restaurants can't afford,
real workers.
the margins are too slim.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was like, I kept handing my resume, and it's really hard to find a restaurant that'll take somebody without work papers, because all the Mexican guys, they know there's a place in Queens you can go and get a fake social and a fake ID and blah
you
blah
don't
blah.
have that.
But I can't do that because I don't have a Mexican support system. There's no like Canadian underground support system.
Yeah.
And B, I look like a cop.
It's true.
So I go and I'm like, I was like, let me go to Chelsea. I used to be a hot piece of ass. And I was
Okay.
like, I see all these Russian girls or whatever. Let me go to Chelsea. And I got like, second place I walked into, they hired me off the books. I just got paid. It was a really shitty place. And they hired me, and I got like,
To what? To
be a waiter. And
Okay.
I only got tips. And I did.
how do you get fired when they're not even really employing you? Hold on, I want to see this camera. I want to make sure this camera. Guys, I'm going to go to commercial break too, but let me see this camera and I'll come right back. Guys, hold on for a second. Stay tuned for a word from our sponsor. Hi, everybody. Today's episode of Ari Shaffir's Skeptic Tank podcast is brought to you by DocuSate Sodium 100 milligram soft gel tablets. Let's say you have hernia surgery and you can't poop because your stool's too hard and you need to be softer. Well, DocuSate Sodium Sulfate 100 milligram tablets will help get you there. You just have to take them, and then lo and behold, your stool will be softened. You take it, and you just sit. You sit and you wait. Because you take for granted how much you push when you poop. You can't push when you poop. Not when you have hernia surgery. Also brought to you by McClure's Pickles. When you're waiting for diarrhea to intentionally strike you, there's no better pickle than McClure's Pickles. That crunch lets you know that you're nowhere near pooping yet. Today's episode is also brought to you by cheese. Cheese, one of the most underrated things to eat while you're waiting to shit. Cheese. On sale now at Whole Foods. Whole Foods, now not just for white people. Oh, and who could forget DocuState Sodium 100 milligram soft gel tablets, best friend, but milk of magnesia. Milk of magnesia. Take a little bit every night and you'll wake up before you have to because you have to take a shit. Milk of magnesia. The chalky taste lets you know it's working. DocuState Sodium 100 milligram soft gel tablets, proven formula will help turn your stool into mush in no time. Remember, trust the #1 brand in diarrhea inducer. DocuState Sodium 100 milligram soft gel tablets. Now back to the episode. Thanks, sponsor. Okay, go ahead.
So that one wasn't my fault because the guy who ran it was this like crazy short man Napoleon syndrome guy, and he owned a bunch of restaurants, like stereotypical New York restaurant owner. The guy had a loaded machine gun in his office, and I swear he had hand grenades in his drawer, and he would pick me up to go to the fish market in the morning, and he had an affair. He was married, had an affair with one of the Puerto Rican, like Afro-Puerto Rican stewardesses, and he had an illegitimate baby that he would drive around with to the fish market and would like crawl around the van, and the kid was dark-skinned, and he'd be the guy was Italian, and he would point at black people on the street while he was driving, and I'm in the passenger seat, and he'd be like, I think, let's say the kid's name is Jacob. He'd be, look, Jacob, that's an N-word.
No
You're
way.
not an N-word.
What?
You're not an N-word. That's an N-word.
Dude, I love a terrible dad trying to be a good dad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing quite like that. Like zero training, but like, I'll be a best dad ever.
And he used to come in drunk and all coked up, and he would like,
Wow.
He'd be like, where's the fucking waiter? And I'd be like downstairs, like getting ready, and he'd be like, listen, you fucking bag of shit. And he'd be like, he'd go to the bartender was gay, and he'd like call him an F word and stuff, and like, I hope you get AIDS. And he'd go to the kitchen and be like, what do you call them? Something, and some like old timey racist word, like beaners or something. And then he was like, we should, in order for you to come in the country, we should put you in the army, kill half of you. And he was just like, one day I was like 3 minutes late, and he was like, fuck him, and then told the manager to fire me. And I had been there for a year. I also got a job at Vice being an intern, which I got fired from.
Cool Vice or Now Vice?
Cool Vice. And Proud Boy guy fired me. McGinnis fired me from Vice.
Back when he was just like a
Just
writer.
there. Yeah. But then I showed up the next day.
What did he fire you for? Whoa, Paula Costanza.
That's right. And I worked there for like 2 more months.
What?
Yeah.
Hoping he just didn't remember they fired you?
He wasn't in the office a lot because they hated him. The other founders hated him.
I would have loved to have seen how that went south at Vice with him and the other guy.
His name's Sarouche Alvey, and the other guy's like a half-white nationalist. Like, I wonder how it went down. Yeah. So,
I'm convinced that all the whole Proud Boys started as just a way to fuck with like white losers.
like make fun of the people who join them.
Yeah, make fun of them.
Like,
Like look what I can make them do.
Right,
I can
yeah.
make them wear dumb shit.
And then power corrupts.
And say that they're like, we're not going to jerk off. And I'm like, look, I'm making these kids stop jerking off.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they were like, yeah, let's hate blacks. He's like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
And then it just started going. And at that point, he was like, hey, I'm out. But they're like, you're not out. You founded it.
I think that he started to like the power.
Maybe that.
He loves the fame. I also, 5 years later or 3 years later, taught him how to do stand-up before he became a Proud Boy type guy.
Wow.
And I remember he was like, oh, yeah, I did fire you. But anyway, they thought I stole a skateboard, but I didn't steal a skateboard.
Why'd you steal it?
I just wanted to do tricks out front. But it was like the Nintendo Wii guys that they were trying to impress for advertising skateboard.
So you like cut it all open? Like you know what I mean?
No.
Shredded it.
I shredded. Oh, buddy.
You shred.
No, I don't.
Did you I'm saying, did you scuff it and shit?
Oh, no, it was already scuffed. But
Okay.
they thought it was like at a bar, and everyone was drinking at the bar, and it just looked like I was running out of a bar with a skateboard. It looked very bad. It was a very dumb thing to do. I was drunk. I was excited. I just learned how to ollie.
that is nice.
Yeah.
I've tried for years and I've never been able to
Yeah.
do it. That's the number one trick.
Yeah.
That's like the base
it's
level
the
trick.
base.
Jump up in the air. So you can skate, and if a curve comes, you're like, that's not going to be an issue.
Nope.
And I'll keep skating.
It was very exciting.
Damn.
Yeah. And
What,
I was
you just
I was,
slap it, right? Just slap it?
Yeah, you slap it and you kick up. It's a whole thing. I don't even really understand how it works, but I was
I've
like
watching slow-mo so many times. I don't
25,
get it.
26 and like learning how to skateboard.
Yeah. That's when I learned how to skate too.
Yeah.
28, 29 in
Oh,
LA.
nice.
I
Yeah.
found one. I was like, I'm going to learn. My
Yeah.
mom never let me. She said I get hurt.
Yeah.
She was right.
You got hurt?
Yeah. It's on, you fall. It's on wheels.
That's right. Good point.
You fall on your keys. It's just like it
Oh,
leaves a
boy.
welt like the whole size of your...
Yeah, skateboarders who learn don't have a lot of keys. They have their house key.
Right. Yeah.
Not a problem. That's why you can't learn when you're older.
Yeah.
Too many keys.
Too many keys.
Yep. But yeah, I got fired from that job, and then I was like, oh, I want to be a bartender. So I had a bunch of resumes, and I walked by this one.
I don't even know how you apply for a job anymore. Resumes. That's what it is, right?
You just walk into restaurants and you
And
go,
it's like-
do you guys need anybody?
Do you need anybody? Here's my resume.
By the way-
Here's my. You can call
Yeah. I prefer if it's off the books.
right away before you even apply. I prefer if this is shady.
If they say they need somebody. Sometimes I like that. Basically, I only got hired at places. This is all for art. This isn't real. Basically, I only got hired at places that were going out of business, that were desperate and couldn't pay their employees.
Right. I mean,
I don't have rich parents. I'm not gonna I wanted to do comedy. I was like, But anyway, so I walk into Kenny's Castaways on Bleecker Street, which is right. It doesn't exist anymore. Right by the Village Lantern. The New York Dolls started there, and
nice.
it's like a music venue, or was a music venue. And I walk in, and I go, I'm a bartender, and they go, great.
what was the New York Dolls' best song?
And I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a nice quote to quote the band name.
Yeah, that's right.
It's cool. Yeah.
I'm a cool guy, and I want you to know. And I like walk in there. I'm like, I'm a bartender, and I've never been a bartender in my life.
Really?
Yeah. And they go,
I mean, you know you're gonna get fucked over as soon as somebody says makes me a Manhattan, and you're gonna be like, I don't know.
I'm like, dude, I'm desperate. I need a job.
Okay.
This one actually said that they would hire me,
Yeah.
and I get hired. Sure enough, the glasses they use in New York in Canada they don't have that in between shot glass and rocks glass. It looks like a tiny rocks glass. You just pour neat whatever whiskey in it, and you sip it with maybe one or two ice cubes. In Canada, all we have is the shot glass, the little tiny one, and then a rocks glass, which is bigger.
Oh.
So I put a rum and coke in that little tiny one, and the bartender I was working with that was training me fired.
Right away.
She told the boss, was like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Fair.
Fair.
I'm holding the bottles from the bottom, not the neck. All this fucking rookie shit. And
She's seeing you right away. She's like, hey, it's not an issue. It's just the guy has no clue what he's
yeah.
he's
I'm
lying to get in
a
there.
nice guy. I don't know what I'm doing. Fair.
Yeah.
It's a business. And I get fired.
Okay. How many is that now?
I don't know.
Sorry. You're not done with us yet.
Then I get another restaurant job.
Jesus, dude. Yeah.
Where in
give up on
Soho.
the restaurant industry. You don't know what you're doing.
I have to. I want to do comedy. Right? Comedy's picking up.
But why
in New York,
restaurant? Oh, because you could work day shifts.
Because day shifts, because I don't have a work visa, dude. It's the only industry that'll hire somebody.
Right. Okay.
So I get another restaurant job, and there I do some bartending shifts. They're more patient with me. You could do like the brunch outdoor bar, and you saw you hold the neck. Because I'm also a waiter, so I'm part of the crew.
Yeah.
And I was just part of the summer staff. They shut down. A year later, I'm walking. I need a job again. I'm walking down Bleecker Street. I go to Kenny's Castaways. I go, they're not going to remember me. I walk in.
Doubtful. You worked there for one day.
I walk in. I ask for a job. They hire me again. I worked there for a year and a half.
On what? Not bartending.
Bartending.
And you learned in that time?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever tell them?
I was slow, but I got better.
Did you ever tell them?
I had day shifts there. Yeah, I did after a year, and they thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well,
service industry hirers are
Yeah.
also quite moronic. The people who are in charge of hiring, they only generally hire hot chicks they might be able to fuck.
Yeah.
And like, just cool people.
When I got hired from there, I'm not making this up. They said, we like you. You seem familiar.
Wow. No way.
Yeah.
Again, the special is called
Stupid jokes.
Stupid Jokes. It's on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Shot at the Montreal Comedy Festival
Yes.
in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
If you don't watch it, I'll kill myself.
He will kill himself. Go on YouTube right now. There'll be a box if you're watching this on YouTube. Guys, subscribe if you are. There'll be a box at the end of this fucking video, and it'll take you to his special. Watch his special. GrahamKay. He always fucking kills it. The Stand, and that's pretty much the only place I see you.
Yep.
Right? I think so.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, we're both there a lot.
Yeah. Where else are you at?
I don't know. Cellar, New York Comedy Club, a little.
I might see you at the Cellar sometimes.
Are you in there now?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I got past just for the pandemic. Tough time to get past.
Tough time. They just shut down.
Yeah.
And then you want to be like, you remember you passed me, right?
Yeah.
There's this guy, John DeResta.
I have gotten a few spots though. It's okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
And John DeResta came to L.A.
Yeah.
Showcase Your Mitzi. He had a TV show called DeResta. He's a trash man,
Oh.
I think, in the show. And then went back to New York. Got passed. Like, sweet. Went back to New York. Came back a year later, 6 months later, something like that. It was like calling for spots. And she's like, I don't remember who the fuck you are. And he's like, did I mess up by leaving? And we're all like, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't remember you. You could say you got passed, and we see the record that we got, but she has no memory of you, so you're out.
Yeah, you gotta hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But didn't happen to you. You get spots now. Great.
Yeah, here or there, and then
What number are we up to now? This is dude. This is a crazy. How'd you get fired from this job, or did you not? When you worked there for over a year. That's at that over a year. You must be like, I'm gonna marry this job. It's the longest I've ever had.
I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was it was a mutual parting of ways, but they basically fired me because the numbers were really low during the day.
Because you're stealing.
Well, I wasn't stealing, but you were supposed to get. You're supposed to build your own. It's a lot like you're supposed to build your own following in bartending.
The other Graham did that with brunch. Remember Graham?
Yes.
And he made the Graham's brunch a thing.
Yes, he made exactly.
And so he would have regulars coming,
Yeah.
or any bartender like, hey, Tuesday nights I'm working. It's fucking hip hop night,
Yeah.
80s hip hop night. So people would show up because they knew it was right. That makes sense. So you
Yeah.
build.
The guy
night.
before me was this like Irish guy who had this huge like lunch following, and he had like he'd play like Twister and have like it would be a party in there, and I just wasn't. I'm not going to do
not
that.
you.
Yeah. And so it was like I kind of got out before I got fired, but I was like there. I was down to like one shift a week.
Did you ever quit a job? Do you ever say take this job and shove it?
That's at the end. That's the last job I
Okay,
ever had.
right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We'll wait for it.
Yeah. So I get this job at the Jekyll and Hyde Club bartending.
Where's that? I've been.
It's
by there.
this big. They have two locations. One is in the Village, but their main one, the original one, doesn't exist anymore. A 4-story place in Midtown, big tourist attraction. It is like a Halloween themed place that hired actors that were part of the union, and they would have these like plays every day, and they had hidden cameras. They had animatronic things on the walls, ghouls and ghosts and stuff that would see you through hidden cameras and have mics and have an actor on the 5th floor operating them. So it'd be like, hey, you in the blue shirt. And you'd be like, what, me? And it'd be like, yeah, you with the beard and the blue shirt, or whatever.
Wow.
Kids loved it, Long
That's
Island
fun.
people. And then but I was a bartender there. And I got fired from that job. I remember I bartended with a guy there.
Did you ever lose hope? I mean, getting fired this many times, did you ever go like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Do you get exasperated ever?
Yeah, I mean it's tough to like. I just wanted to do comedy, and it was like
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. I don't care. And then that one was I had my boss used to call us a piece of shit a lot, and was really mean to us. And every time he did that, I would steal $50 from the register.
Listen, that's fair.
Yeah. And he'd make people cry.
Yeah, it's just like I'm taking your money.
And I'd be like, you're not paying me. I'm only getting tips. I'm going to pay myself. You just call me a piece of shit. And then, so my register was kind of like all over the place. It was like, it was a little
light?
over,
What?
which is bad. Over in the bartending industry, if your register is over,
Yeah.
that means you're stealing.
Why?
Because it means that you didn't So when you
You didn't bring something in and you took money for it, which means you constantly not bring something.
yeah,
and you
yeah,
forgot.
and you forgot. You were sloppy. I had a good system.
If it's under, that means somebody stiffed you or something.
Yes,
Interesting.
exactly. Smart guy. And so I had a pretty good system going, and I wouldn't do it too much, but there was enough times where it was like a little off. But the final
You
straw.
attract eyeballs. Off too much. People looking at you now.
Yeah.
Like, why is your numbers off all the time? Once it happens, you know, it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe I did the math wrong.
Yeah.
It keeps happening. It's like,
Yeah.
sums up.
I also was angry.
And stealing.
That's why I was stealing.
Right.
He kept making me angry. But what happened is I got
Hey,
arrested.
stop looking at your pussy, man.
I got arrested and I went to jail for 3 days and I didn't show up for work. And so, but it wasn't my fault. It was like New York broken window laws. Like I was making fun of my friend for doing graffiti. And so I did graffiti. Then 2 unmarked police pull up and then beat us up. And
I remember you telling me about that.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I went to jail. But then my boss, luckily, I didn't get fired at that point because my boss was black. It was like one of the few times he liked me because I told him what happened, and he was like, "Oh, you got picked up," because he was like from the Bronx, and he was like,
You got picked up.
I guess in his community, it's not your fault, and it's commonplace for the police to make you disappear.
What do you mean? Quickly.
If you're black, the police will just stop you to fill their quota and bring you to jail and make you disappear, and it's not your fault.
You got picked up.
And so in his parlance, he's just like, "Oh, you got picked up. Bring me the 1096 form or whatever." Because the back then,
What?
the police had a quota. They had to have a certain amount of arrests or they would get fined or whatever, get in trouble. So at the end of the month, they would just they would just stop people and frisk them and say you did this, and then you'd go to jail for 3 days, and then they would get their anyway. So he was like, "You got picked up. That I understand that.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Just bring me the form."
The arrest form.
And he knew the name of it.
Wow, because he's been picked up.
Yes.
Loitering law kind of shit.
Yeah. Bring me the
Dude,
name.
that's fucking wild out there.
Bring me the form and to prove that you did it, that you were in fact picked up, and I did. And then, that put me on like very, very, very thin ice.
Yeah.
And then my like, I think I might have shown up late another time just because I was drunk or hungover, and I was toast. Which is, it happens. A guy I worked with there said he was going to start comedy. And
Louis C.K.
And I was like, he's like, "I want to do drag comedy," and I was like, "Come on, man, just do stand up."
Just get into it.
And then I was like, "This gonna be sad." Anyway, his name is Bob the Drag Queen, and he has like 5 million Instagram followers.
Oh yeah, he's from San Mateo.
Yeah.
He was right not to listen to you.
Yes, he was. Yeah. So I was like 3 years into comedy, which is like the snobbiest era.
It really is, because you think you know enough to know kind of what you're doing, but not nearly enough because you haven't been through the business end of it, any of it.
That hasn't happened to you yet.
What? Right.
You thinking you know what's the deal is.
Yeah.
And then
everything's
that
holding you
person
back.
becomes famous.
Oh, right.
And you're like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
And you're like, I'm better than all these guys who were only doing comedy for 2 years because I've been doing comedy for 3 years. And
But
then
also,
at some point, 10 years in, like that doesn't matter.
I was better than people doing comedy 4 and 5 years.
Right.
And so I had like a high opinion of myself.
Right. Oh, right.
But I hadn't been burned yet, and I also didn't realize that it doesn't always matter how funny you are. You can kill and be
what were you
original.
saying before?
If you are really good, you might not make it. I think if you're really good, you'll always make a middle class, at least.
Hopefully, but maybe not.
Yes, but if you are a shitty comic who's famous, you will always get found out.
You'll get found out as being shitty.
Yeah. But
the reason we're saying that is we were talking about. No, I'm not going to do that.
That wouldn't be good.
Yeah. I'm not interested.
Yeah. In terms of like fighting ability.
Why get into a fight?
Yeah. But anyway, I feel like I can't remember. Yeah, so I had that job, and then I got a job at 169 Bar, which is the Lower East Side, and then I got fired from that job because they said that I didn't bring down glasses, but I did. Then he never asked me. He was a drunk. Also, what I think
It sucks when you work for a drunk, especially in the service industry, because they are drunks, and so they have this memory that isn't real, and then
foggy.
they're bosses also.
Yeah.
There was a guy, Dan Murr,
Yeah.
who used to run Tempe Improv,
Okay.
accused, I think, Steve Trevino once of stealing like a bottle of like Dom Perignon.
Yeah.
And then it was like, no, dude, the whole staff and I saw you walk out last night with a bottle of Dom Perignon. Like, it's okay. You're the boss. Take it. It's yours. But
Yeah.
like, why are you accusing me?
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on? It was just a mixture of Coke and booze.
Did he still get in trouble?
Yeah, he had major trouble, but it was like, we all saw you do
Oh,
it.
that
We saw
fucking blows.
you do it.
This is. I think he just made it up because to fire me. That instance up because he didn't.
He wanted you for something else.
I had a kidney issue or an inside and I went to the hospital and a male nurse who I thought was a doctor looked at my chart and said I had hepatitis, and then I went home, went home and I called my boss and said I can't go to the bar because I think I might have hepatitis. I'm coming back for further tests.
And he's like, no, you're out. I don't want you here.
And then he fired me. And then I went back to the hospital, and it turns out that guy was a male nurse. And the doctor told me that I had just been immunized for it, and I had antibodies. He shouldn't be. That nurse should not have told me that I had Hep C.
But he was still like, fuck you, you're fired? Or wanted
I
to
already
get rid of
been
you?
fired. He already made up that story about the glasses.
Right. Too late.
Too late. I'm out. So then I got a job at a sandwich shop, and then
It's your second sandwich job.
second
Dude,
shop.
I don't say this lightly. You're a fucking loser, dude.
Yeah. And then they fired me because
How do you not get your sandwich job?
well, I'm
You know
not.
DeRosa's making sandwiches now. Don't tell him that. He'll be mad at you.
Here's the thing: is I have ADD, I have OCD, I cannot, I should not be in the service industry. It's the only industry I could work at with an undocumented person in New York.
Yeah.
And it's and also with comedy, I had to work doing something I could only do, at that point I'm only need to work 2-3 days a week, and then I could do comedy 4 days a week.
Jesus.
And so it is the worst job for me, and it's the only job I could do. Anyway, so I got a job at a sandwich shop, and then I got fired from that because the guy said that.
This is so crazy how many times you've been fired.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 or 4. I mean, I guess if you're a comedian, you're irresponsible. 6, 7. You tripled this. Anyway.
Oh, more. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think I'm leaving a lot of stuff off, but.
Are you?
Yeah. I feel like it's becoming redundant, but yeah.
Whip through the ones you skipped.
No, I think I'm doing okay, actually.
Okay.
I think I got them all. But anyway,
Helps to
so
go in order.
I it's a sandwich shop, and this guy was a cokehead, and this guy was a former like skater guy, and he lived in the back, and I was just slow, but he made up a story, I think, about how the Mexican guy didn't like me.
Why
But
would he make
I've
up a
talked
story?
because it's easier to fire somebody if you make up a
There's
story.
something going on.
So I was just slow. I just would, it took
Yeah.
me a long, there would be a line out the door, and I'd be like, by myself, I'm not quick. And
I mean,
then-
why do you even have to make something up at that point? It's like, hey, dude, you're not getting the hang of this. No offense. We just got to let you go. You're slow.
I think I don't know. I think it's easier. I don't know why. Maybe the next guy didn't like me, but I honestly talked to that guy like 3 times. I don't understand why he didn't like me. Like maybe I wasn't friendly enough to him, or what I thought at the time was maybe I was supposed to tip him out and no one told me, or maybe they told me to tip him out and I wasn't paying attention.
That could be.
When they told me that.
That could be.
Anyway, I didn't know that, and I definitely would have tipped him out. I'm like good with tipping. I'm good with like the kitchen. I'm always good with like making sure people are taken care of. It's not like a selfish thing.
Yeah.
I care about the people I work with. The people I work with always like me.
I will always tip like heavily when I'm
Yeah.
working at a club for a week. Like
Yeah.
heavily.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I get in with them really well.
Yep.
Then I steal money from the till.
Smart.
Yep. Money comes right back.
Yeah, that's right.
They think you're generous,
Yeah.
and then they fucked up.
Yeah. Stupid losers.
Stupid losers is
People
what I'm
are
trying to
losers.
say.
Not me though.
Guys, join me on the Stupid Losers tour all over America, starting in Hartford, Connecticut in 2 weeks.
And then but it was okay because I was already there was like a thing with me. I got a Conan audition, but I couldn't, even if I got Conan, I couldn't I was legally.
They'd
not-
have to pay you. They couldn't pay you off the books.
Yeah, I'm
Conan's
not
canceled.
legally allowed to do Conan. So I had to move back to Canada right when I was like getting a bunch of momentum in New York. I was passed at like 5 clubs in New York. I'm only 5 years into comedy.
Damn.
And
Still years away from filming your special stupid jokes.
many years.
Wow.
And-
Available on YouTube now.
Yeah, YouTube right now. And then I was starting to get all this momentum. It was my fault I stayed too long in New York, but I just was like, I can do this. I can get a work visa. I'm trying to get a work visa. That's why I stayed at Vice. I thought they could give me one.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. And then it just was like, what am I doing? I can't. I have to go back to Canada and get all my credits. Everything I did in America didn't mean anything. And then I had to be like an open micer in Canada and start fresh.
In Ottawa or Toronto, at least?
I went to Toronto. Went straight to
Okay.
Toronto. I'd never been to Toronto in my life.
Really?
Yeah. And then, and so I got fired from the sandwich place, and I was like, peace out, America. Moved to Toronto, got a job at a restaurant because, yeah, I'm good at it.
Yeah.
And
So you got fired.
after a year, I did not get fired. I was down to 2 lunch shifts a week. I booked a commercial. I booked an international commercial, not just a Canadian commercial, and then I booked a tour out in Western Canada, and then I had other gigs lined up, and I was like, I think I did it.
You think you're a full-time...
I'm full-time. I can go home.
Yeah.
And so I went to this tour, 2-week tour. When I come back, I'm gonna quit. And I've been so many stressful nights being slammed, brunch shifts being slammed, being like, I can't wait to fucking quit this industry.
And you
It just
finally
kills
get to.
me. And I went home and I was gonna be like, fuck you, you're cool, fuck you.
Oh, what a
It
fucking
was-
glory. Finally on your own terms.
It was, oh man.
Oh, my God.
It's gonna be the fucking best.
To quit a job finally on your own terms. How fucking lovely.
So good. I think something I had thought about doing on the New York City subway.
It's like an Oscar speech. that
hung
you-
over, yeah.
Yeah.
And so many years built up. I'm in Toronto. I have so I have a shift the next day. My plane lands the next day. I've been gone for 2 weeks. Remember, 2
Yeah.
weeks. Remember, I walk in. And I'm ready. I got my speech prepared. I didn't even bring my uniform. I walked in my street clothes because I'm not going to fucking work that day.
Right.
And they had fired the manager and rehired a whole new staff, and no one remembered who I was.
What? So you went in there like, hey...
And they're like, "Who are you?"
You're like, I work here.
And then,
But I don't. The point is I don't want to work here anymore.
One girl was like, "Oh, you were the guy with 2 lunch shifts, Monday and Tuesday. We were wondering where you were, what that was."
And you couldn't even fucking quit?
Yeah,
Fuck this goddamn world, man.
yeah,
That's hilarious.
yeah. But that was like 8 years ago, and
Yeah.
I haven't had a day job since.
Oh, congratulations.
Comedy hasn't fired me.
In New York mostly, in America mostly.
3 years in America now.
Damn.
4 years in America. No, 5 years in America.
Wow, you were at the old stand.
5 years in America, and
And now you got your green card so you can make money here in America.
for
And you
like
do.
4 years in Canada. Yeah.
Damn.
And I have a green card. Yeah. Yeah. I don't have to worry about any of that shit.
That's hilarious. Have you ever been fired from a comedy job?
No.
No. That would be
I'm good
tough.
at comedy.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes they'd be like,
But I'm
"You're
the
dirty."
responsible. Like I can show up places and stuff. Like if yeah, it's the one thing I don't. Yeah.
Have you
I
ever
can-
fired anybody?
When I say I'm good at comedy, I mean like I'm good at the responsible side of things at comedy.
You don't mean you're funny. You mean like
I'm not.
I'll never miss my flight.
I get hired because I'll be there.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not handsy with the staff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
one. Dude, when I started, they used to be like, don't fuck a waitress because then either you're gonna go back next year, it's gonna be drama, or the manager's gonna want to fuck them, and then they're gonna be like, don't book that guy again. Because
Yep.
then it's like, and I never did until I realized way later. It's like they're fucking everybody, dude.
Yeah.
They work at a club. They're
Yep.
fucking everybody. If
Yep.
they're not, they don't mind. Dude, like, it's just like,
Yeah.
and also. They're not idiots. If you fuck them and then you left for a year, they're not like waiting for you to get married when you
Yeah.
come back next year. They're fucking
Yeah.
grown adults.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
the manager getting mad at you is a real thing. Mm-hmm. They're like, don't have him. I don't like him. And then they can make something up.
Yeah. It's just good just to be friends, and then they'll take you out drinking, and it's
Yeah.
more fun. Then you.
That is way fun to drink with the staff.
Yeah. Yeah.
to like go get blitz, and like it's not about like hitting anybody. It's
And
just like
then
let's just get fucking loopy.
They'll 50% chance someone from the show is at the bar that's down the street that you went to.
Yeah,
Just do that.
yeah.
So,
Staff's
and they're
joint,
much
too.
more impressed that you did comedy than the staff that sees it the whole time.
Yeah, true.
So,
Never been fired from comedy.
never been fired from comedy. I've been fired from a commercial.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened? I was fired from a commercial once.
Oh, really? What happened?
Yeah, they found my friend David Taylor. You know David Taylor?
No.
Anyway, he we were watching a football game, and then our other buddy, I won't say his name, said somebody dropped a pass over the middle. New York Giants Cowboys game. Just dropped a pass over 3rd and like 5. Just dropped a pass for 7 yards.
This is part of
through
the
his hands.
commercial?
No,
Oh.
this is just us. I had booked a commercial for, I forget what it was.
Yeah.
And would have been a first down. And our other buddy goes, I wonder how many times NFL coaches think the N-word. Just because like this fucking like right over the top for a first down. And then David's like, you should post that. You should tweet that.
Oh boy.
And I did. And then it was the wild days of Twitter where you could do anything. But
yeah.
it was just
But
the
you
beginning
couldn't.
of no, you couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they found out that
It was the beginning of you
They
can't.
said they called and said, hey, actually, because you couldn't even say fuck you, we don't stand for that. It was back then when you couldn't even do that. They just go, hey, your part was actually written out. We actually don't need you anymore.
Right.
We'll give you the $500 for the booking fee, but that's it.
Right.
And then I knew someone else on the commercial, and they're like, no, I heard that part was still in there. I heard it was because something happened like I don't know, they like lost faith in you for something like that. I was like, not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a decision then. I was like, listen, if I lose a few jobs for trying to be funny, that's the price.
That's ultimately the right decision to make.
Yeah.
That a lot of people don't make, myself included, a lot of the times. Like when in terms of like, I mean, that's not really my sense of humor. Like I'm not funny in that angle anyway. Like my brain does not make that funny.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more of like a silly, goofy. I don't know.
Yeah, you have some funny, serious stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But
you mean that mentality?
But it's all. But that's a lot of things. Like in life in general, just be yourself is the only way you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then if like, well, you can't make money. It's like, well, I'll still make some money, just not this money.
Yeah.
I'll still make the other 6
Exactly.
monies, and I'll lose these 3 monies.
Which is impressive, dude. I could not. I was too scared. Until
What?
very recent. Until like
Oh.
a few years ago.
There's an old Bill Burr column, I think,
Yeah.
that he wrote about how he was a clean comic. I gotta find it. Maybe I'll read it in the outro if I can find it. Stay tuned for the outroduction. But it was about him being a clean comic, and everyone telling him that's how you get ahead.
Yeah.
I gotta read it again.
Yep.
And then he had here or there, he'd have just be real angry about something.
Yeah.
And he'd go off. And he'd do real well.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, almost from the movies, like, I don't need these notes. I'm reading from
Sure.
the heart. But it was that
Yep.
for stand up. And he'd go off and he'd be dirty, he'd do well, and he'd be like, no, I gotta go back to being a clean comic though. And then eventually, those happen enough times
He was
where
like,
he's like,
I think this doing well is gonna work.
right,
I
exactly.
think it's gonna help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, why am I stuck doing this clean guy? It's not me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a clean
He's
guy.
an angry man.
And it's fine for those clean guys.
He will not. You can't fit whatever square peg, whatever.
Yeah.
But I got fired from that
Commercial
just for being too tall. They liked the girl. We just looked weird together.
Yeah. I got fired for being too tall from the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Mitzi was like, you're blocking people's views when you see people. I'm like, well,
Is that true?
yeah, so what am I going to do? I was like, I don't want to do anything. You're fired. And I was like,
Oh my
really? And she goes, yeah, get out. And I was like,
god. Get out.
yeah.
Like you're there?
Yeah. And I was like, I can't even stay the night and watch the show.
Is
But I
this
was,
true?
Yeah, this is true. And I go, well, can I just like crouch when I see people? And she goes, well, okay. And then I saved my job by suggesting I just bend down.
Power
she was nuts, man.
corrupts.
She was nuts.
Power fucking like.
Yeah. There's
What the fuck is that? Leave now.
Yeah, just like who would do that to another human? Leave now. I was like, I didn't
Yeah.
do anything. I didn't steal. If I was stealing, it's like get the fuck out of
Your
here.
life could have been completely different
If I hadn't thought.
if you hadn't have thought to crouch down.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Giant shift. There was another time too where she said like to a manager, she goes, "Who's that guy on the?" Because I had come from the North Hill Service Desk at University of Maryland, where you're like, "North Hill Service Desk, how may I help you?" It's a very professional job, you
Yeah.
know. not a comedy club. We're not representing Happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I answer the comedy store, world famous comedy store. Ari speaking. How may I help you?
You're answering upbeat like an adult.
She goes, no, that guy's not smiling enough. He's not happy, to the manager. And she goes, oh, okay. That new guy, fire him. And he goes, okay. And then he dealt with like 3 other things. And he goes, hey, that new guy, do you mind if I just tell him to like be more smiley on the phone?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. She goes, oh, yeah, okay. Same thing. Giant shift in my whole life.
Oh my God.
If he doesn't suggest that.
Incredible. And
Incredibly.
you didn't even have an opportunity to defend yourself.
No, thank God.
It was somebody else who, with quick thinking, or
Brandon
luckily
Duncan.
he
Brandon
had
Duncan.
3 other things
Saved
to do.
my fucking career.
Yeah. Well, you would have done well eventually, but it might have been a
Maybe.
more secure.
I mean, I talked to Dice about this, where he's like, "What about Mitzi? Like, did she help you?" He goes, "Look, man, I became the biggest comic in the world.
Yes.
So like, there's no doubt I had talent, but if she didn't help me, I don't know if I would have been as successful.
Yeah.
You know, I might not have gotten the right opportunities or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I might have been okay, or I might have just been like, "Oh, this thing is hard." You know, that moment where you like think of quitting.
You wouldn't have quit. You would have been less happy.
Yeah, I might have been a cruise ship comic.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that's hilarious. How many times you've been fired? So you got fired for being too tall from the commercial. They were just like, "You don't fit here."
Yeah, because they liked her. She was
Yeah.
like real hot.
Yeah.
And I was just a guy. And then they tried to make me. First they gave her an apple box to stand on, and
Yeah.
she looked like she had little tiny arms and long legs.
Oh yeah.
And then they asked me to crouch down, and it looked like I had long arms.
Oh right.
And they're like, "You gotta go."
How tall are you? 6'4"?
Yeah.
Or you have feet in Canada, right? You don't do meters.
Yeah. For a second, I thought you were asking if we have like legs with feet.
You do feet and miles, but
We
you do Celsius.
No, we do kilometers, and
Kilometers.
we do everything
But you do
metric.
gallons.
We do everything metric.
You do.
Everything. But because of sports and everything is like 6'4", 6'3", 230,
Yeah. You don't do metric for that.
because we're just so close to America and affected by America, everyone just goes, "I'm 6'4", 200,
Right.
I don't know,
Right,
190,
right.
whatever you are."
So what are you? What are you?
And
6'4".
it's the everything else I know metric, but weight and height, I'm like, I don't know. I'm 6'4", 203
It's
pounds.
so easy to get a hang of it. I'm so pissed that America just never fucking fully committed to it.
Yeah.
It takes fucking 3 months and then everyone gets it. I know
Yeah.
Celsius pretty well because of trips to Canada.
Yeah.
Just because of setting the thermostat.
30 is 90.
It's like
20 is 70.
This is too hot. This is comfortable. 25
Yeah.
is about great.
Yeah.
A little warm but fine. You know, it's just like 16 is like all right. You're good to
0
go out.
is when ice freezes.
Exactly. That's not a hard one.
Yeah. 100 is
Boiling.
boiling.
Yeah. It's so fucking dumb. We're such a fucking retarded country. God damn.
I mean, Britain does the same thing.
They don't use it either.
They
They use Celsius.
no, I think they like, he's 8 stone.
Oh, stone.
You're like,
That's
what?
a crazy one. That's a crazy one. You know
Yeah.
Edelman's joke about that?
No.
How'd that go? It's like this lady was like, she was like, I don't know how many stones. She was like heavy. She was like 6 to 7 stones. She was a boulder. Well, it's pretty good. Anyway,
It got me.
the special is stupid jokes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very
I
good.
wrote it. I committed it to memory.
Yes.
Once you write it, the thing is fucking there.
And the reason why it's called Stupid Jokes is because
Find that Burt thing. Yeah.
I hate self-serious comedians.
Self-serious?
Like, I'm going to rap to you what's up in the world.
Dude,
Go
that is
fuck
all
yourself.
English comedy.
Yeah.
No, it's not all. English comedy does at the end. Like, and I learned something.
Yeah.
The thing that South Park makes fun of.
Right.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The serious, like, let me tell you something.
Or fucking like guys trying to be cool. Stop trying to be cool. It's comedy. Guys who are trying to be cool are not funny.
I mean, it's a new thing now. I think Dane brought it in. I think Dane was the original, like, cool comic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any.
But now he looks
before
like
Dane.
he's like he can't get a job and he looks like he's melting.
He does the plastic surgery.
But
on
he
it.
might be a nice guy. I don't know.
He's nice enough.
Yeah.
He's always been nice to me. There's a Hollywood thing that gets in your fucking head, and whenever you see one of those people with like plastic surgery, you're like, that you would not have been this way if not for Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird, like,
You seem to be immune from the plastic surgery.
I was a Comedy Store guy.
Yeah. What does that mean?
We're not Hollywood. We're like a bubble of anti-Hollywood. Now it is Hollywood.
I'm an unpaid regular.
Congratulations.
That's right.
Congratulations.
I had
I was an unpaid regular twice.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. She made me an unpaid regular, and then another time she was like a year later, she's like, that was a great showcase. You're an unpaid regular. I'm like, I already am. And she was like, wow, congrats. You're used to it. I'm like,
I got.
How'd you get unpaid regular?
I was on like a Tonight
Dick.
Show
Okay.
showcase, and I did very well on. And then I got unpaid regular. I got to skip all the other stuff.
Oh hell yeah! The
And-
stupid showcases and having to try.
Yeah. But then I was moving to New York because I just wasn't getting enough auditions. I didn't see the point.
And being in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love New York. And then, but I got my big audition. I think I told you the story.
For the store?
Yeah.
I don't remember it. I'm pothead.
On the
so-
bikes. I told you. Anyway, I'll tell you again.
On the bikes with Louis?
Yeah. Anyway, I'll tell you again. Doesn't matter. And so I'm
See, at what point will I remember the story? Because it's still, right now, still zero memory.
So, it involves a friend of yours who I've never met. Seems like a nice guy,
Yeah.
but I've been waiting. I've been
Starting to get a hazy memory.
I've been unpaid regular for like just over a year. I've been doing really well. Made sure to like do my best stuff every time I'm there, whatever.
I remember now. Keep going.
And is this okay story to tell?
Yeah. Sure.
And then I go. So I'm like,
Leave out names, but fun. It's fun. Yeah.
okay. So I
Or do whatever you want.
No,
I
just
just always, yeah.
I don't need to do that to myself. So
Yeah.
I just want my name on that fucking wall.
I get it.
At that point, I didn't have any late night sets. I had nothing in America. I had a bunch of Canadian credits, but no
Yeah.
one cares.
Yeah.
And I just wanted something to say I was here and
It's
did
a real
comedy.
thing. It's a real thing.
And I was
Have
like,
your name on the wall at
I
the
gotta
store.
get my name on that wall, man. And I wanted it so bad. And then I'm waiting in like that sort of outdoor patio when you make a left to go in the back door. There's like a neon.
Oh yeah,
Comedy
that's where my
stores.
name is in the back there.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So I'm waiting in that little area
Wait, outside or inside?
outside.
Okay.
And
wherever- where the
close
door guys
enough
smoke.
where the doors are open and people are in the hallway, indoors, and you can sort of hear them talking.
And you're outside.
And I'm outside.
Okay. Yeah.
I have very good hearing.
Okay.
I can't pay attention, but I have very good hearing.
Yeah.
And so the person who is ahead of me is gonna for that show they do shotgun, which means there's no host. The comic before you has to remember your name, the whole set, and then say that Ari Shaffir is up next. Give your hand for Ari Shaffir,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you have to remember my name and so on.
Here's the hackiest joke that I've seen 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are gonna absolutely love this next comic. He's one of the favorites here. He's a killer, and he's just really rising. His stock is really rising, and he's just everybody's talking about how great he is. What's his name?
Yeah.
Graham K, everybody.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so fucking dumb, and I've seen great comics that I
Yeah.
respect do it, and I lose just a little bit of fucking
Yeah.
hope in humanity.
Sure.
Yeah,
And
but-
respect.
Yeah.
Because you're not on the road. You're not
You're not on the
dying.
road. Yeah,
You're not trying to earn your
And they
corporate
think they're
paycheck.
so fucking funny,
Yeah.
but it's like, dude, this is so tread on. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
You're at the store. It's the one place. These places you cannot be at. Anyway,
Yeah.
Anyway, I have resorted to little tiny things like that, doing a corporate, so I can get my money and leave.
Yeah.
And there's no industry there. This is a canoe company in rural Canada.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not doing anyone else's material, but I'm doing like a
Oh,
little
yeah, yeah,
half
yeah.
thing like that. So, but anyway, this guy, I could hear him talking to Adam, who's the booker, and Adam's like, so the next guy is GrahamKay, and he goes like, who the fuck is that? And he goes, he was an audition, and that person's like, well, I think we're pretty. I don't know why we have a lot of people here already, and I'm like, I'm sitting there.
You're
going,
like, we don't need anybody else?
he didn't say that, but that was sort of what he was intimating, And I was just sitting there like, okay, yeah, that hurts, and this is the only thing I got
It's not
going
even
on.
an insult on you. It's just like, I get it.
It's not an insult on me. He
Yeah.
doesn't know me.
It's just like it's a thing where people have lost connection to what it was like to be a young comic, and it's like, well, we already have plenty of people here. It's like, yeah, right, but then you need more new young comics, because other comics will die of overdoses or suicide or whatever, or move to another state or another country.
I'm better than a lot of the people,
and it's like,
that
well,
you
yeah,
have
also like,
like
here's a human, so he wants to be in.
Yeah, and I'm different. I'm not like, I know I don't look different, but I'm a little. My style is a little different than people that you have.
You think he was just joking?
Maybe I'm not
you think
even
he was just
better.
joking? He's like,
but
we
I'm
have plenty
like,
of people.
Maybe he might have been.
Yeah.
I might have been far away.
Yeah.
But that's true.
Yeah.
I But anyway, did his thing, did a long time, and then, which is fine, obviously.
Brought you on.
It's his privilege, and then brought me on and mispronounced my name.
What did he say? GrahamKay? GrahamKay?
Like Greg Kie or something. Fine, whatever. It doesn't matter. They don't know who I am.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
It won't. That doesn't affect my set.
Yeah. I love that people's like, that's not how you say my name. It's like, dude, the person, it doesn't matter. Just go get laughs.
You're not famous.
Nobody's like, wait, Bill Johnson? I thought you were Bob Johnson.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay attention then.
Take their pint of beer and slam it on the ground and walk out.
Nope.
Yeah. Anyway, so it took me 2 minutes to get them back.
From what? From him crushing or from doing so?
Doing not crushing.
That is a weird showcase to go on after somebody.
Working out new stuff.
Right.
Saying bombastic things to try and find an angle.
Which is fine. Yeah,
which
that's
is
how you
fine.
work out.
It's his job. It's his job to do that. But it's tough to go, or like hyperbolic things.
Yeah.
Like
it's tough to go into material after that because that guy's being natural. He's just talking.
He's just talking, being natural, and saying crazy stuff to see if something catches and try and find an angle or whatever. And going very long and just talking. And then I'm going up there doing the most rigid corporate, like not corporate,
like,
but
here's
like
my set.
Showcase.
Yeah.
Joke.
Yeah, you can't be like, what's up? Let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
You can't do that when you're showcasing.
No. So I tried to do like an in the room little riff and like and it was like
the story in general is hard. You have to learn how to follow certain people.
Sure.
So like following Ingram, following Dalia, there were tricks to not doing your whole 15 minutes, but those first 2 to 3 minutes where the rest of your set either they were going to listen or not.
Yeah.
So with Dalia, I forgot what it was because he would crush.
That guy tears the paint off the wall.
With Ingram,
However
you
you
would
want
just
it.
continue his crowd work a little bit
Right.
until now I can just go into my material.
Right, but I don't have.
But yeah,
that
but you
time.
don't know what the tricks are there.
I've been doing it long enough where I know that I had at that point that I had like what to do. I just didn't. It's a showcase, so
yeah, it's a weird situation.
if I spend longer than 15 seconds, I'm gonna go over, and that's bad on a showcase.
Right.
So anyway, it took me 2 out of the. I had like 2 out of the 5 minutes to get them back, and I had like a 3 out of 5 star set. It was fine.
Yeah.
It's not good enough to.
And what did he say?
He said no, and that's
Good.
like the first time that's ever happened.
Damn.
To me, and I had a feeling he was going to say no regardless of what I did, though.
Because of that.
I think that he just gave it to me because I was there so long and he had to, but he didn't want to. That's my thinking, but I don't know. But anyway, he didn't give it to me. I also didn't have the best set. I just had an
anytime you
okay
have
set,
like a
so-
3 out of 5 or something like that, like you said, it's like you want to be like, but they could pass me anyway.
Yeah.
But it's like, but
When I'll put it this way, when I got up, when he said no and I went to my car, I wasn't angry at anybody. I was angry at myself.
right.
I was like, I'm fucking.
Yeah,
better
you
than
want to
that.
leave any showcase you want to leave on the table where you're like, if they don't take me, it's like that. You guys are idiots.
That's right. I didn't have that
I
feeling.
crush. So
Yeah.
then you have some weird rule about dirty or
It's like
about
when I got
whatever.
fired and I was like, they were right.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But then you were already a non-paid regular at that point. Right.
And I continue to be, I guess, at this point, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see if you go back there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's wide open now. It's not wide open. There's like 10 people left. Everyone's like, LA's done. It's like, who left even?
Yeah. I
Like,
think
not
most
that
people
many.
stayed.
Yeah.
Like 5 people left.
Yeah, it's like, it's
Not
it's
5
just-
people are left there. 5 people
5 people
moved
took
to Austin.
off. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't that much. It was like
Yeah.
Segura,
Mm-hmm.
which means Christina too, but she never came in.
Mm-hmm.
Rogan, Tim Dillon, he was pretty new anyway there. So like, I mean, Sebastian maybe. I don't know. I don't even know. It's fine. Austin is a burgeoning scene. Anyway, Graham.
I talked a lot.
The special. Well, this is a podcast, man.
Good point.
Yeah, this is the place for it.
Mm-hmm.
Church. We've got an issue.
How would you know?
What?
What would you
I
know?
don't I see movies. Stupid Jokes. This is special. It's out on YouTube right now. Check out Graham on social media.
MrGrahamKay.
OKGrahamKay.
Yeah,
That's your Instagram name.
Instagram.
MrGrahamKay.
Yep.
It's not
It's
bad.
okay.
It's not bad.
It's good on paper, but
It's good on
saying
paper.
it
It's
is bad.
catchy. Yeah, it's catchy. But then you're like,
It's too confusing.
was Graham K taken?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first choice.
Yeah.
I could go _MrGrahamKay.
You know what? How I hate when
underscore.
people do Graham K live. I never understood why live was. A lot of comedians do it. Sebastian live, Robert Kelly live.
It's not live.
It's not live.
It's not live.
It's a social media.
Yeah. Maybe they mean live.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Robert Kelly live.
Mm-hmm.
I think he means live. When you hear it out loud, you realize it's live.
Yeah. I think it's live too.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's at INSTA, my name.
And then are you on Twitter still?
Yeah, MrGrahamKay.
Get off Twitter. Mr. Graham Cray. Okay.
K.
Let him know how you like the episode, you guys.
Let me know. Attack me.
If you see the special, Stupid Jokes on YouTube, why not? What the fuck else are you doing? Guys, any special is going to be better than any podcast. More interesting. Except the one podcast that Burt won't release. That is the best podcast of 2019.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's a pussy for not releasing that. But it's his decision. So I gave him the best podcast of 2019. He can do whatever the fuck he wants with it. Go watch his special, guys. Free on YouTube. Stupid Jokes with Graham K. He's fucking crushes at the stand constantly.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. There's like a bunch of comics who are like, I don't know. There's never a term I came up with them. I call them like the legitimate comics of New York, which just like all like you like reference somebody like, what do you think about Mike Vecchione? It's like, yeah, he's just one of the like solid
Yeah.
like I don't know. There's like levels, but it's like all those people that in that group are just like, yeah, they're great. They're all like really funny comics. They're not like weak or growing. They're just like, you know what I mean? They're just like in a category of like soda or like just you know what I mean? Just like the solid comics of New York. You know, and you're one of them. So
Oh, that means a lot, man.
yeah. So
I was really waiting to see how that would end.
oh yeah.
I was glad it ended that
So
way.
he's open for many of those people. So a lot would rub off on him.
I was ready for that. All right.
No, Graham K, man, he's great. If you get a chance to see him live too. But definitely check out his special. He worked hard on it and he made something good. So if you like it, leave a comment on there and share with a friend and fucking, I don't know, share this, subscribe and do whatever.
Thanks so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Here, I got fucking $100 for you
For what?
for doing
No.
Ari Shaffir's Skeptic Tank
Wow. That's unexpected and needed.
2, 3, 4, 5. You're fired.
That's great.
Take that money and shove it.
That's so funny. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Take it.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'll talk to you now. But bye, everybody. Stay tuned for the outro.
Ari Shaffir owns this song. Ari Shaffir owns this song. This song is owned by Ari Shaffir. This song is owned by Ari Shaffir. This song is owned by Ari Shaffir. This song is owned by Ari Shaffir.
Oh, shit. I didn't see anybody there. Oh, yeah. Oh, you sexy cunt. You sexy little fucking cunt. Oh, you sexy little cunt. Oh, yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much to Graham K for coming on the episode. Okay, I found this fucking Bill Burr thing about working clean. Thank you very much, Graham K. Thank you very much to BetterHealth.com for sponsoring the episode, and 3Chi also for sponsoring the episode. Makers of quality Delta 8 products. Okay. Podcastmerch.com/collections/Ari-Shaffir. Don't forget, every Monday, the YouTube comes out of the episode. Every Tuesday, The audio comes out, and then every Wednesday, I think, or Thursday, I should know it if I'm mentioning it, a classic episode of Skeptic Tank that used to be audio only is out on YouTube. We're calling it The Bottom of the Tank. It's Becky Rodriguez's idea. Tons of people working on it. Colin, all these people, fucking artists working on it. So it's just like the lo-fi. It's a version of like lo-fi. So it's me sitting at a desk, and it's just like it breathes some life into it. But it was audio only because, you know, that's what the podcast was up until this past year. Okay. BillBurrLive.blogspot.com. Damn, from 2008. Chinese democracy. So this is the I'm going to read it to you. If it's on YouTube, I'm going to be looking down a little bit, but bear with me. Here's a comment. Oh, what else did I say? Oh, make sure to watch Graham K's special, Stupid Jokes. And also, if you're getting fired, quit first, you guys. Quit first. Before they have the chance. Quit first. Oh, and make sure to check out AriShaffir.com to check out all my dates, such as Hartford, Baltimore, Providence, Shroomfest, Pittsburgh, Nashville, Tacoma, Spokane, Miami, Houston, Orlando, Tampa, OKC, and Cleveland. And I gotta assume I'm gonna add the Denver Comedy Works quite soon. And get a job there. Get a job at the Comedy Works. What a fucking great place to work. ComedyWorks.com/jobs for everything. So here's a column. I remember this. I haven't read it at all since. So thank you, one Patreon member, for that kombucha that I just drank. Thank you, one May kombucha fucking member. Patreon member. Okay. Chinese democracy, March 4th, 2008. Damn, 13 years ago. Bill Burr, you got to understand, was not as big as he is now. I don't think he was even doing the Monday Morning Podcast yet. Here's a comment I received in an email the other day. It is a criticism that I get every couple of months. Quote, it takes more brains and emotional intelligence to entertain without swearing than with. And I think you are a very emotionally intelligent white dude. P.S. When you wanted to smash those women's muffins at the street fair on a hot day, I could really relate. LOL. Unquote. Damn. Times are different. It takes more brains and emotional intelligence to entertain without swearing than with. I'll get into the rest of the column. This is exactly the same level of fucking disdain as racial comedy now. As sexual, can't you be funny without being racist? Can't you be funny without swearing? Can't you be funny without being sexual? It's all the same shit. It's all, I want you to do comedy my way, or it's not quality. Can't you be funny without? Yeah, well, I have lots of jokes that I don't do with that. I don't only do those jokes. Can't you be funny? Wow, your whole thing is to do this kind of joke? Okay. Anyway, and by the way, I'm not mad at you not even being into a type of comedy, but going out there to say I fucking hate it, it's not just backlash. It's not just backlash. It's you getting other people to fucking threaten clubs, and it's also, what are you doing, you fucking dork? You're going to go call the Met and go like, I don't like that kind of, I don't like this kind of art. Yeah, you're a fucking dork. Okay. P.S. When you smash, okay. The above comment is obviously part of a nice email because he does. I shouldn't comment on this. I'm just going to read it. The above comment is obviously part of a nice email, and I don't think this person was trying to be a jerk. She was just trying to give me some advice that she felt would make me a better comic. And I have to admit that I sometimes struggle with the whole working clean versus working blue. There are definitely nights when I get off stage and I've cursed so much that I feel like I have a bad taste in my mouth. Me too. It's on those nights that I think back to the beginning of my career. Cue dream sequence music and release the dry ice. When I first started my comedy career, believe it or not, I worked squeaky clean. This is Bill Burt talking. When I first started my comedy career, believe it or not, I worked squeaky clean. In fact, the first half hour of material that I wrote, I was so clean that I didn't even use the word heck. I prided myself on not cursing at all. One of my early personal triumphs was writing a bit about who was the first guy to ever give the finger. What's the deal with the finger, people? Is this crazy? And the thing I enjoyed most about the bit was I never gave the finger at any point during the joke. yet I still was able to convey the idea and get a big laugh. I worked this way for the first 2 years of my career, and in the process quickly gained a reputation as a funny, new, clean comedian. A lot of people would tell me how great it was that I worked clean and that I was going to be a TV guy. I remember people telling me, "You're perfect for The Tonight Show. They are going to love you." I have to admit, I loved hearing all those compliments. And with each one, I was already envisioning myself sitting on The Tonight Show couch and having Jay Leno ask me, "How in the world did you become so funny?" This fantasy also included a rock star and an A-list actress sitting to my right, in equal amazement at my abilities. Of course, the night ended with me playing drums in the rock star's band, hooking up with the actress, and somehow accepting an Oscar. I forget how it all played out. It was a long time ago. Anyway, the weird thing is, when I look back and think about it, I realized I didn't work clean in the beginning because I was a comedy purist. I mean, I have to admit, part of the reason I worked clean was I wanted to make sure that I learned how to write a joke that I was actually funny. I gotta read that again. I mean, I have to admit, part of the reason I worked clean was I wanted to make sure that I learned how to write a joke and that I was actually funny. But the main reason I worked clean was that I was afraid to work dirty. I didn't have any confidence on stage, so I didn't work blue because I wanted people to like me. I wanted the crowd to like me. I wanted the headliners to like me, and I wanted the club owners to like me. That may sound ridiculous, but that is the major reason that I took that approach. I noticed a lot of headliners would complain to the bookers that the opener worked too dirty. I didn't need that stress. I was under enough already. Pause right here real quick. Dude, I am so lucky that I had guys like Joe Rogan and even the few people I worked for occasionally, Ralphie May and Paulie, who never gave a fuck if I used the word fuck. It just wasn't even a thing. I really got to develop freely. Could have been clean, could have not. None of those people cared. Back to Bill Burr's thing. Basically, I was 23 years old, mentally about 11, and had zero self-esteem. And I didn't possess any sort of mental filter. At that point in my life, anything someone told me, I believed. If someone said I was good, I thought I was good. If someone said I sucked, I thought I sucked. I had no ability to shake anything off. So the last thing I wanted to do was irritate people and bring negative attention that would feel like shotgun blasts to my thin-skinned comedy torso. And I certainly didn't want to offend anyone in the crowd, because I didn't possess the skills to be able to handle them if they turned on me. Early on, I had my entire act memorized. Every night I did the exact same jokes. Can you imagine Bill Burt? Dude, it's like when you go to the Dali Museum in St. Pete, Florida, not the one in Spain, but they take you through it. It's in chronological order, and you see him just being like painting regular still lifes. And then slowly he gets a little weird, then a little weirder, and then he finds himself, and he's just wild. But you got to see it in order. I think I actually walked the wrong way. I made a right instead of a left to start, so I saw it get wild and then get less and less wild. But man, this was Bill Burr. This was the fucking one of the best comedians of all time. One of the fucking most out there, honest, fucking go right at you comedians of all time. This was him too. This was his early Dali. Early on, I had my entire act memorized. Every night, I did the exact same jokes in the exact same order. Yet I would still make a set list before going on stage because I was so afraid that I was going to forget what I wanted to talk about. If that wasn't psychotic enough, I had another Rain Man compulsion. When the MC was about to bring me up, I would quickly untie and then retie my sneakers. I was deathly afraid that they were going to somehow come undone, and then I would trip on my way up to the stage. and be completely humiliated. You fucking dork. Some nights during my set, the top part of one of my feet would start to tingle from the lack of circulation because I tied my sneakers so tight. Even though I was aware on stage as to why my foot was falling asleep, it never occurred to me to end this ridiculous ritual. The thought of avoiding potential humiliation, as opposed to losing a couple of toes, was an easy decision for me to make. To put it mildly, I was an absolute mess of a human being. Every night when I went on stage, I would recite my act rather than do my act. Dude, Bill, I know what you're talking about, man. I've been in that situation too. You recite. You end up reciting. I've seen other comics do. I saw enough comics do it at the Comedy Store where I'm like, oh, you're just like, you're like the line. You're not reading them there, but like you're just reading lines. Why the chicken crossed the road to get to the other side? And it's like you're not actually telling anybody why the chicken crossed the road. Waiting for them like to get to the other side. You know, it's a different. Like you just, yeah. He said it right. Every night I went on stage, I would recite my act rather than do my act. It was like there was an invisible teleprompter rolling in front of me as I presented my material. Couldn't even bring myself to take the mic out of the stand for the first 8 months of my career. I was too afraid that I would either drop it or that I'd take too long to get out of the stand. By the way, I'm still the opposite. I can't put it in. If I put it in, I got to hold it. It's so fucking weird. Whatever the imagined scenario, it would all end with me being laughed at and having my little stand-up dream die a shameful death. Despite my precautions, I still got heckled on a regular basis. Looking like Ron Howard was never an asset. And whenever I did, it would completely throw me off. I didn't have a problem stopping my act. I didn't have a problem addressing the heckler. The problem would come when I would try to return to my act. I could never remember where I was. This would create a long 3-second pause that in the embryo stages of being a comedian would feel like 35 minutes. My brain would go into panic mode at about 0.7 seconds in. Oh my God, what was I talking about? Fuck, think, fuck. Oh God, they're waiting. Everybody's waiting. Talk. Oh God, they know. Everybody knows. I'll never get booked here again. They'll tell everyone. My career's over. Say something. Fuck. 2 seconds into this thought process, my mouth would dry up. At 2.2 seconds in, the meticulous teleprompter reading me would mentally faint. And then I would just be standing there, staring at the crowd. My brain would no longer be in my notebook. It would just be blank. Looking back at a crowd that was looking back at me. It was in those moments that I would actually truly notice the crowd for the first time. Then it was like a regular me would just start talking. Then it was like the regular me would just start talking. But it didn't feel quite like me because I was way too self-conscious. Despite that fact, this nervous version of me would just start talking, stalling for time, while teleprompter guy was being revived in the back of my brain. Dude, this reminds me of Dice. He used to start his act. He used to try to piss off the crowd. Dice, he doesn't get the credit he deserved. He would do these tricks to make it harder for himself so he could get an actual workout. I saw him go up at fucking 1:30 a.m., 1:15 a.m. for 2 people in the OR. I mean, even door guys were like, "Nah, I don't want the stage time." And he was like, "I'll do it." And he did 45 minutes in front of fucking a couple. But he would make it harder for himself. He would get into a fight with a piano player, Jeff Scott. Jeff's dead now. Because of Dice, who's to say? A cat ate his face. But he would go over. He would take his big drink, put it on the stool, and he'd take out his cigarettes, tap them. Then he would tap the side on the mic like this. Test. Which way is the piano guy? That way. Turn it up. Make it louder. I said, turn it up. Make it louder. Test. Leave the mic back in. Go back over. I mean, walk 3 steps over. Get a sip of his drink from a straw. Walk back over to the mic. Test. Yeah, okay, that's good. And I mean, the crowd's waiting. And he's not Dice from Madison Square Garden. He's Dice that a lot of people remembered, but some people didn't remember. He only had a few hardcore fans there. That didn't. He'd just pop in. He wouldn't be on the lineup. And he said once, he goes, "See, a lot of comics at this point." I can't do the Dice. I'll try it, though. "They'd be terrified. This much time in silence, they'd be scared shitless. Terrified. But not me. So slow, so meticulous. But not me. You know why? Because I know how this is going to end. With you guys on the floor and me crushing." Something like that. And he was right, man. He's so fucking confident. I mean, you see a lot of comics go up and just grab the mic and start talking. You can't. Anyway, back to Bill Burr's thing. Stalling for time while teleprompter guy was being revived in the back of my brain. During these terrifying moments on stage, when this in the moment me was stalling, I noticed that I would immediately begin cursing and speaking the way I did off stage. It wasn't a Tourette's kind of cursing. It was more conversational. This is the birth of Bill. Actually, it would have been conversational if I could have controlled the nervous quiver in my voice. Picture Don Knotts auditioning for Pulp Fiction. Not getting the part, of course. But it felt really good, really natural, and above all, it felt like me. Those early episodes of losing my place and having to improvise are the most vivid memories I have of learning how to become a stand-up. Those moments would always be my favorite part of the show because it seemed like real comedy to me. Jokes that work night after night seem like the repeated moves they teach you in a karate class. Whereas having to deal with someone in the moment on stage felt like an actual fight where you don't know what your opponent's going to do. Fucking well written, Billy. Early in my career, these real deal moments would only last for an excruciating 7 or 8 seconds because the teleprompter guy would regain consciousness. We've got a pulse. Then, in the moment me would disappear, along with the nasty words, and I would mentally go back to behind the podium and continue my wholesome act. After sets like this, I'd be really frustrated. I felt trapped in my act. And I was also becoming aware that I wasn't being myself on stage. I was so busy trying to learn how to write jokes, I didn't notice. I became this stand-up comedy guy. The second I began my act. I was so busy trying to learn how to write jokes that I didn't notice. I became this stand-up comedy guy the second I began my act. On stage, I was happy. On stage, I was a happy, sort of goofy guy. And off stage, I was actually a really angry and depressed person. Yeah, we know, Burt. It took a minute, but eventually I realized that this first approach wasn't working for me. I wanted to feel the way I felt during those 7 or 8 seconds. Because even when it went bad, I still got an incredible rush from it. So thus began my long journey towards being the foul-mouthed jackass that I am on stage today. I was sick of being locked in my act, and I didn't want to talk about cookies and end tables on stage. I wanted to vent and go off on things the way I did in my everyday life. This reminds me of the Howard Stern movie when he's like, I'm going to stop holding back. And his wife's like, you've been holding back? Back when he was good. I'll take that back. Back when he was great. He's still good. So the more I began working on becoming the guy who made my coworkers laugh, the more that cursing just sort of naturally worked its way into my act. I like to think that I wasn't cursing for the sake of cursing. I was just kind of talking the way I talked. By this time, it was the fall of 1994. This is a great time to be a comic. OJ had been arrested. The last day of Dan Quayle jokes died a merciful death. And I was having a great time on stage trying to figure out how to not sound like an insurance salesman. I was finally beginning to tell stories, and I was pretty psyched about the new direction I was headed. But once the cursing was in my act, and I wasn't TV guy anymore, I started to get the first negative comments in my stand-up career. Wow, I've never heard you curse on stage before. Dude, what happened to you? And my all-time favorite, you shouldn't curse. That's not you. These comments bug me, but they were my fault. All those insights were based on the phony please like me persona that I presented on stage for 2 years. And all they did was reinforce my decision to become more of myself on stage. Becoming me took about 10 years. It wasn't until about 2004 that I felt I had finally begun to get it right. It was a very long process that involved a lot of bombing and deliberately going on in front of crowds that I knew were going to scare the life out of me. I went up in front of all kinds of different groups of people, and I had a lot of brutal sets, but the great ones kept me going. Do you guys hear that? You have brutal sets. The great ones kept Bill Burr going. So the brutal sets are part of the whole thing. You guys, I think everybody who listens to this gets it. The fuck-ups are worth more than the fucking whatever. But the great ones kept him going. It was a ton of work, but in the end, it all paid off. I'm 16 years into this thing, and I'm having more fun on stage than I've ever had. And the reason I'm having the fun I'm having is because I took the time to figure out where it works for me on stage. So anyway, it's almost done. That's the story as to why I perform the way I do. I do it because it works for me. And admittedly, there are many nights where I feel I need to clean it up a little bit. And even worse, some nights, I feel like I'm up on stage just yelling and not even telling jokes. I'm just screaming for 50 minutes. But despite this, I don't think I'll ever go back to working squeaky clean. He didn't think he would. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know. This may sound ignorant and prove the above person's initial point, but sometimes you just have to use the word fuck to get your point across. Wow. Damn. Good fucking. Posted by Bill Burt, 521. Wow. Look at the comments. Interesting. From 2009. Here's a good one. Words, vowels, and consonants, all in how you use them. Is fuck you really the most offensive word someone can say to you? How about I will kill you perfectly clean? I think I will take the first one any day. Who are the assholes that decide what clean is? Fuck it. Wow. I like these people trying to fucking, this guy's trying to like keep them going. It makes any difference. I'd say just be yourself and deliver the jokes the way you see fit. If people like you, then they like the real you and not some funny dipshit. All right. That's great. Good article. Well, that's the episode, everybody. What are the odds I'm recording? I am. That's the episode. Thank you very episode. Come on. GrahamKay for coming over to this fucking crash pad that I'm staying in. Thank you, Bill Burt, for writing that article. I remember it helped me a lot when I read it right when it came out. 2008, 2009, what did it say? 2008. Was it 2008? That means I was 9 years into comedy. I was just March 4th, 2008. 9 years into comedy. I remember it helping me. I remember him being like, yeah, you're like one of the good comics now. And I was like, felt like I was getting somewhere. But there still was that thing. You have to work clean. It still was around. And not so much. Definitely not at the Comedy Store. I shouldn't say that. It's not at the Comedy Store at all. Not at the Comedy Store at all. But you would get from audience members sometimes like, why do you have to curse? Why do you have to sell sexual jokes? I'm like, well, because I'm talking about coming on a wall. I don't know how to do that not dirty. I'm talking about pulling out of a chick's pussy and shooting a load on a wall. Let me try to clean that up. I removed my unit from the woman's crevice, and I sprayed love juice on the wall. Wall's clean. The wall part still that's fine. Anyway, you guys, that's the episode. Thank you, GrahamKay, for coming in. Thank you, Bill Burt, for writing that. I remember it. I haven't read it in a long, long time, dude. That helped a lot of young comics. We passed that around the store. People were like reading that at the store, and it fucking helped people. You know what else helped people? For talking about Shroomfest, I had a friend, I'm not going to say who, just told me that a year ago, he took mushrooms with this chick, and he started having a bad trip and started swinging down a hole and thought he broke his wife. And he was like, I fucked her up. This is bad. And he went and read my primer on the internet called Shroomfest Primer that wrote everything there is to know about mushrooms. And I assured the reader in that article that nothing bad will happen to you on mushrooms. You will not stick that way. Anytime you think you've broke your brain, that's just the drug fucking with you. And he said he read it, and then he was like, okay, I guess I already said. And then he went back to and then slowly falling down the hole again. And they're going, no, I fucked her up. And then going back and reading it and going, nah, he assures me that even if I think it is, it's still not. And he said it got him back into a good place. If you're going to take mushrooms for Shroomfest, August 21st to 23rd, if you want to know how to get them, if you want to just prepare yourself, go Google Shroomfest Primer. I wrote it for you. I wrote it so you'll know how to take mushrooms. So you know how to get them, how much to pay for them, how to do them, what to expect, the possibilities, what to worry about, what not to worry about. It's all there. It was painstaking. It took me like weeks to write it, of real hard work. For no profit, I did it for you. It's there. Google Shroomfest Primer. And I think he wrote that for a bunch of comics. So anyway, that's the episode. Don't forget to hit my Patreon, patreon.com/Ari Shaffir, and press subscribe on YouTube right now, youtube.com/Ari Shaffir. Tons of new clips, tons of weird Colin O'Neill, fucking weird fucking Photoshop, I don't know how you call them, videos that he makes. They're fucking great. And that's it. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Now stay tuned for fucking Graham's special if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, then stay tuned for, I don't know, last week's episode of Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank. Bye!